Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Rugby Championship. This one, a rematch from last week. Argentina taking on New Zealand. Now, the Kiwis, they got themselves the bonus point victory, so they do sit number one on the table. And after a close game between Australia and South Africa, they start to make up a little bit of ground there. The Springboks -8 for the points differential. Australia, they didn't receive a single point from that last contest, which does mean they are still on 5, so New Zealand have a big opportunity here to either extend that lead more or Argentina have the perfect chance to level it up for this Rugby Championship with every single side, 1 win, 1 loss. But it's going to be tough to do. New Zealand, they seemed like at times they were starting to find their rhythm in the last contest. Argentina the same, and a couple big changes for the Argentines in this contest. Mako Vivas, he will once again be the number 1. Julio Montoya at 2, and then Delgado slots in at number 3. Franco Molina alongside Pedro Rubiolo, so no changes there for the Argentines. Pablo Matera, he had a big game last week. Got some statistics about him a bit later on, but he is one to definitely keep an eye out on there. Juan Martin Gonzalez, he comes into the starting lineup. That is rather than Marcos Crema, who finds himself off the bench. So those two pretty much switching from what we saw in the last match. And Joaquin Oviedo, he got himself a try in the last contest. Also had 4 clean breaks last year for the Argentines. So he is certainly a player to watch out for. And at this contest, Gonzalo Garcia will partner alongside Thomas Albanoz as that 19 combination. Albanoz sensational for last week's game. Santiago Chocoberez in the midfield alongside Lucio Cinti. And then the big return out on the left wing, Mateo Carreras. Now, he didn't play last week, but he had some insane statistics throughout last year's Rugby Championship competition. He is one to keep a close eye on. He will beat defenders. He will make some very important tackles throughout the contest too. But Batista de Algui, he moves from the left to the right. And Juan Cruz Malia again will slot in as the fullback for this matchup. Looking through at the All Blacks side, they too have made a few changes across their team, mainly due to injury, but also just a straight switch in regards to that number 8. But Ethan Agruti, he gets the start at number 1. Cody Taylor 2, and Fletcher Null slots in as the number 3. Scott Barrett and Fabian Holland will once again be the locking duo between the two of them. 5 dominant tackles from that last match up against Argentina. Tupovai, he will stay as the number 6. Adi Savia, he will move to number 7 rather than being in that 8 jersey like he was last week, but some great numbers there from Savia in terms of carries. Also tackles made, he was solid enough on the ball. And him now at 7, a lot of people want to see him stay there, but whether or not he does all depends on what happens with this number 8 jersey in this game. It is a debutant. It will be Simon Parker. He represents the Chiefs. He represents Northland, and he has got a lot of versatility, good size about him, and he will be, hopefully, a very strong debutant for this matchup. The whole backline the same as what we saw for match number 1. Cortez Ratama slots in at 9 with Bowden Barrett as the 10. Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor making up the midfield. Barrett having the most tackles out of any All Black in match number 1 with 14. Rico Ioane out on the left wing. Sever Reese out on the right. Little bit of a redemption here for Ioane after a bit of a lackluster first test match, whereas Sevu was on fire. 2 tries for him, which puts him right at the top in terms of try scorers for the comp. And then Will Jordan at number 15. He did not score a try in the last game, but it's a very rare time where Will Jordan doesn't score 2 games in a row. He got himself a try assist, so perhaps he can cross the try line himself. And at this game, I see we've got 27 comments. So it is already absolutely flying by in the chat. I know that the last game between South Africa and Australia was the exact same. We have got Shane here. We've got NZ Riot. Ruth is in the chat as well, I do see. We got Jimbo here. AB's to get it done by 20 plus is the prediction there. We have got there. Would love to stay up for this one in South Africa, but after an active day in Pretoria with this fabulous weather. And to be fair, the weather was very nice in Cape Town too. It was expected to be rainy for that game taking place between South Africa and Australia, but it was fantastic to see that the weather did stay nice. But yeah, late night game for you guys in South Africa, starting at 11:10 p.m. South African time. But yeah, it is greatly appreciated anyone who is putting in that late night to be able to see what happens. In this game, we have got a low roof from Manu there. And also we have got the in there butter, says the AI. And should be a relatively easy win for the All Blacks. That's the thing. Last time these two sides played was in the Rugby Championship last season in terms of the double header. First game, New Zealand lost by 8. Second game, they won by 32. Now, that could happen again. But at the same time, Argentina, you cannot underestimate what this side can do because that is dangerous. And every once in a while, they'll put together a dream performance. Now, you could actually argue that with the exception of that British and Irish Lions tour match, Argentina have not had that big performance throughout this year. I know that beating the British and Irish Lions in that warm-up game was absolutely massive for them. You know, beating Uruguay, 52 points to 17, that's a decent result, but once again, that's expected to happen. The 2 games up against England, they didn't quite get it right. So how long is it going to be until we see this Pumas side click? And in that case, if it is now, New Zealand will have to be on their A game because when Argentina are firing, they can be a very dangerous side. But New Zealand, they will feel like they're getting ready to fire too. They had their 3-match series up against the French. In all of those games, there were connections being built, chemistry being made, and now we're starting to see some sort of cohesion. At the same time, though, I do think there's a few guys that Razor is trying to swap in and out, work out exactly what combo to be able to use for those matches up against South Africa. And after a South African win, that puts a bit more pressure on New Zealand to perform here. We have got there the What's Up Guys podcast, said yo, in there as well. Hamish Wakey Wakey says Shane, he's on mute. Says in there right. I really hope not because I'm about 7 minutes in to this live stream. How far away is kickoff? We have still got another hour away from the kickoff, which sounds like a really long time, and it actually kind of is, but it normally flies by on these previews. We've got plenty to look through at statistically from that last match, as well as the whole of the Rugby Championship. We've also got a game to talk about in regards to South Africa versus Australia that we have just seen. So, yeah, it's a busy time, but an exciting time as well in the world of the Rugby Championship. We have got there the Black Machine on the run again. Come on, boys, says Nicholas. And also we have got the As You Might plugged in. I believe it is. Maybe you've got me on mute. And 1 hour guy says, Jesse, not too far, but let's listen to these guys, says the AI. And also we have got the OMG. I have a bad feeling about this. The Argentina will try harder, I can tell. Well, that's the thing. They didn't have a absolutely terrible game last week in terms of some of the statistics. Like Thomas Albanoz across the whole of the competition was actually relatively up there. He is currently, with the exception of the fact that Australia and South Africa just played, heading at the end of round 1, he was the leading point scorer for the whole competition. And Bowden Barrett had a pretty good day off the kicking tee. Good evening, Hamish. Who was your man of the match in the box versus Australia? My personal favourite was Quagga Smith, but Andre Pollard deserves it because of his 100% kicking success that game. I thought that Quagga was immense. In terms of definitely with him not supposed to be starting, Jean-Luc Deprez ruled out late, and then Quagga came in and was just absolutely everywhere. He was relentless. I think Argia Snyman was also up there in terms of what he was able to do, but yeah, I think Pollard did enough to get that man of the match. We have got the Australia look solid despite losing. I agree. I think that losing by 8 points in South Africa for the Aussies is actually a pretty big bonus. They weren't expected to win that first match, but they did by 16 of all things. But yeah, I think they're looking all right at the moment. And once again, for these other sides, it is down to underestimate the Aussies at your own apparel because the biggest concern for them at the moment is the amount of injuries that they've had. They picked up another 3 from this game. Tom Wright, Nick White, and then also was Joseph Suali'i. I don't know the extent of that one. Marshy, just looking for the key for the locks, says the AI. And Kia ora, Hamish Bros, says Matthew. Welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. Daniel James is here from Argentina, or living in Spain, says Daniel. Go on for the Pumas. And also, you call that weather nice. Must be spoiled. Or I must be spoiled in Pretoria. I think it's more so nice that it didn't rain, because it was supposed to be bucketing down for that game, and it never actually happened, so that was extremely ideal. I'll get there, Hamish, can you please read my comment? I just did a while ago, but I'm quite far behind in the chat. I'm slowly catching up, and then we are going to be looking through a few of the other bits of information. And time for the backs to pull their weight, says Godzone. This is what's set to be a cruising encounter, says the What's Up Guys podcast, in Kia ora whanau from Cape Town, says Albert. And enjoy the footy All Blacks all the way. Yes, we can, says Albert. And also, how's things, amigo, says Flesh, and doing very well. The chats have been absolutely flying by today. We've been trying our best to read them all, but I think we're miles behind. Let's see what Parker is made of. Well, that's the thing. Simon Parker, big chance here for him to make his debut. He's got a lot of hype about him, but then there are also some people who feel like they already like the loose forwards that they had, such as a Wallace Satiti. You know, some think that he'll just walk his way back into that number 8 jersey, but it would be nice to see Parker give him a bit of competition heading into those Springbok matches, because perhaps we could see Parker start and Wallace off the bench, or maybe Satiti start and Simon Parker off the bench. But either way, I do think with that versatility, it's a very strong thing to have here for the All Blacks moving forward. We have got there where you cover some of the Women's World Cup games. I am hoping to, although there are a lot of overlaps, is proven by this match. I believe there's one taking place at this very point in time. How long before the game starts? It is less than an hour, but about 58 minutes until the kickoff of the contest. It will be a 9:10 a.m. kickoff for us here in New Zealand, and a 11:10 p.m. kickoff for you guys in South Africa. We have got there. I hope Argentina can stay in the game. Says Jan Lu there. Our Ashley Stewart goes 7-1 safe. Says the AI and Parker going to run over Matera at some point. I don't know about Matera. He's been putting in some pretty big hits lately. In fact, like, don't get me wrong, Parker is an absolute unit of an individual, but Matera loves that type of challenge where you cover the Bulls versus Greekwas game tomorrow. We are planning on doing that one. And nothing wrong with healthy competition. Exactly right. And, you know, sometimes it can get misconstrued a little bit in terms of if you have a preference of one player, but you also want to see another player do well in that jersey, then it sounds like you're a bit indecisive. But sometimes it's all about finding that combination and finding some depth. And currently for New Zealand, you know, there's someone like a Peter Larkai. He's not even getting a look in. He's sitting there training with the squad, hoping that one day that 7, 6, or 8 jersey frees up. But the way that Vai is taken to that 6 jersey like a duck to water, he's not giving that one up. I think Sama Penny Finau, he'll be starting to get a little bit nervous. 77% of people are backing New Zealand to win this game, I do see on the Sky Sport one. Pumas win is only 4%. We have got their Wallabies taking the kicks at goal when James O'Connor radar was clearly off, was strange. Says Crimson. Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it? Because he was nailing all the kicks early on. And then they turned down a couple 3-point opportunities to go for the corner. Maybe it was something that James O'Connor felt, you know, it wasn't quite coming off the way that he would like, because it looked like a couple of his kicks were very low. Not a lot of height on them, so I'm not sure what the go was there for him. But hopefully, you know, he gets to play up against New Zealand as well as Argentina. Hamish, you are the man, the myth, the legend. Says JB. Well, I do appreciate you being here. Also, this early, of course, with the game still a little while away from taking place. How many All Blacks fans are there in the stadium? I think there'll be a fair few, you know, even some people who are from Argentina and probably should be going for Argentina. There'll be a few All Blacks kits around in the stands. The third ODI is taking place tomorrow morning at 6:30 a.m. South African time, says Manus. And also South Africa played better, but was still poor. What's wrong with the box? I think it's just finding that right combo. Because, you know, Rassi was able to experiment throughout the July internationals because they were facing Italy and Georgia. And, like, I think that also the amount of injuries to important players has hurt them a little bit too in terms of finding that combination. And I also do think that Jasper Wiese getting himself suspended was probably one of the most annoying things for Rassi, as he had his number 8 confirmed. And then from there, he's had to try out since then Cobus Wiese, Sia Khaleesi, and Kwaka Smith. All 3 getting the chance there. We have got their greetings from Norway. We love it, says Michael. Well, it is greatly appreciated. You're tuning in from the top of the world. Currently, I believe about 10 p.m. for yourself, maybe 9. As a South African, I would advise box supporters to stay humble. Can't win every game with 10 tries. Stick to our DNA. It's still great to win a test match by 8, says Roger. And I think the bigger one as well is the fact that they stopped any chance of Australia getting a bonus point. With how close this table does sit at the moment, it is crucial to try and shut down any sort of extra points for your opposition. As you can see there, even if Australia had been within 7, they could have moved up to 6 points, which theoretically would have put them number 1 in the overall standings. But at this stage, New Zealand still remain there, depending on what happens. And at this game, I will also mention, if New Zealand were to lose this game by 16 or more points, South Africa would be back to number 1 in the world, but New Zealand would still name or stay as the number 2 side in the world. So there's a little bit on the line. And of course, those New Zealand versus South Africa games will affect the world rankings quite drastically before we head into those November internationals and then the Rugby World Cup draw. In terms of what is coming up for these two sides in the very near future, less than 14 days away till we see South Africa take on New Zealand at Eden Park. That is the matchup that so many people are looking forward to. The world champs defending or going head-to-head defending their Rugby Championship title up against New Zealand at a fortress of sorts for the Kiwis. It's going to be pretty awesome. See that match take place. Argentina playing Australia just prior to that match. Early kickoffs for both games for the Australians. I don't know whether or not that's because of the NRL on the Saturday night or whether they just prefer the afternoon kickoff. Maybe it works better for the timing in Argentina or something along those lines. But either way, some very good matches coming up in the near future. I will mention next weekend, though, there is no Rugby Championship. There is the bye week where teams get prepared to go travel in different directions. For the Argentines, they'll be heading to Australia. For South Africa, they will be heading to New Zealand. It will be a little bit of a race to see who gets to New Zealand first out of South Africa or New Zealand, seeing as they are flying from Argentina. Fiji versus Tonga, that will be taking place next week, though, for the Pacific Nations Cup. We will be covering that one on the channel. And Japan versus Canada, that is the evening game taking place as well. But that Fiji versus Samoa game, it actually overlaps with the first game of the Rugby Championship. So I have absolutely no idea what to do there with all these overlaps that are just around the corner. Looking through at the benches for these two sides while we are at it. We look through at the starting sides, but these guys off the bench could make a real impact throughout this last maybe 30 or so minutes, or if you are like Australia, 77 minutes for Andrew Callaway. Tom Wright going off extremely early with the injury, but it is Ignacio Ruiz as the number 16, Titas Chaparro at 17, and Joel Scalevi starting in at 18. Guido Petia, Marcos Crema. I do think that those two could be extremely handy for the Pumas here. Benitez Cruz at 21, Santiago Herreras as the number 22, and then Picardo, number 23. For New Zealand, they have got Samasoni Taukeiaho, Tamaiti Williams coming back from his injury, and Basilio Tosi as the number 18. Josh Lord, he gets his first chance of 2025 in the number 19 jersey. That was due to the Patrick Tuipulotu injury. Wallace Satiti, he returns from injury and does get that chance at 20. Finlay Christie keeps his spot at 21, so no Kyle Preston as of yet for the All Blacks. Quinn Tupaia, number 22, and Damian McKenzie, number 23. I know that quite a few people wanted to see Timothy Tavatanawai get the chance off the bench, but obviously Tupaia, they've decided he is due for some minutes, so they give him that crack rather than Leonard Brown, who did suffer a concussion in the last one. We have got there Marcus, the boss of the North, 2 cents rugby, says Blues Nate. And there as well, McDermott designed a box kick 30 metres out with 8 minutes to go was dumb. Says dime till death. I think that both sides will look at that game and think that they could have done different things throughout it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I still think Australia will be pretty happy with what they've been able to do. The fact that they got one win in South Africa when they were pretty much guaranteed 2 losses by 95% of people heading over there, feeling bad for the Bokke. Me and the lads are sipping on the brew, says Michael there. And also, Rassi might be experimenting a bit too much, says Fleshen. And also, we have got, if New Zealand loses this, Hamish, I wouldn't put a bet on, the missus put 25 on the Argies, says the AI. Also, she's back in the underdog in this contest. Someone's got the odds there, $4.40. Where Argentina do sit. Good to see Tangi Tau back. Should play for the All Blacks XV. Yeah, they have got some games coming up in the relatively near future. Keep an eye out for. There'll be some great players across that side. And actually, it's almost a little bit of a feeder into the November Internationals All Black squad. If there are injuries similar to what we saw last year, someone like a Peter Lakai or a Duplessis Karefi after playing that game up against the Georgians got brought in and now has 3 All Blacks caps to his name, although was taken out of the lineup here with the Wallace Satiti return as well. Good to see Satiti and Williams on the bench, says Cameron Kay. And also Mateo Carreras will cause the All Blacks problems today, says Crimson. Mad, I didn't put South Africa by 1-12. Although that game was pretty unpredictable, to be fair. Like, it looked like heading into the second half, we were going to see more of what we saw last week. But then from there, South Africa did control some pretty crucial moments of that second half. The Pumas have a good style. They have the power potential. But they need an upset today, says NZ Riot. Yeah, it would be considered an upset if they are able to get the win. Of course, you've got New Zealand sitting top of the table, but if Argentina were to get the win, every side would have one victory heading into round 3 of the Rugby Championship. This competition has been known recently as the unpredictable one. I feel like we're seeing that again here. Although we were just talking about injury changes, but luckily that was actually the original injury changes rather than new ones that have taken place. Is Roy Gard playing? He is not. He is still dealing with his injury. I'm not 100% sure when he's going to be back as of yet. There hasn't been a lot of news about whether he'll be returning for the matches up against South Africa. Now, Tyrell Lomax, another man with an injury, he's anticipated to make his way back up against the Box. But outside of that, not too sure what's going to happen. We have got there need Fletcher, Null, Simon Parker, or Sever Reese to score first to win a share. Odds 50k. Do you think that's good going? I think that is from Highlanders fan. Fletcher, Null, Simon Parker, or Reese. Sever Reese probably a decent chance scoring the first try. He is busy out there on the wing at the moment. Dang the suspense, says Rodeo 4. And also Norway is off their seats, says Michael, and Aussies are back, says Johannes. And let's go Quinny Quintapai, let's go, says Blues Nate. But yeah, big opportunity for him to make his way off the bench. And, you know, with the amount of injuries that we've seen for Anton Leonard-Brown as of late, like, there is a chance, and it may not be a very big one, but there is a chance that, you know, that 13 jersey, if Billy Proctor goes down with an injury, we could see a Tapia there. We could see, I don't think they'll put Rico back to 13, but that's the question at the moment, ladies and gents, that we will ask just while we are waiting for this match to get underway. If Billy Proctor gets injured, who's your 13 at the moment for the All Blacks? Anton Leonard-Brown, we've got to remember at the moment, is also out though, but then he will be back. So is Leonard-Brown your guy who walks into the 13 jersey, or have you got someone else? I put it out there on my All Blacks, what I would want to see for this matchup. I said a Moni Narawa, and I got a fair amount of stick for it. Even though Narawa had played quite a bit of 13 in the Bunnings NBC, as well as in his slightly earlier stages of his career. But, yeah, it will be intriguing. Geordie going to 13, says Shane. Timothy Tavanawai. And true, hinted at Quinn taking 13 off Rico. Says Blues Nate. Evening Hamish, did you guess, or did you not guess the score correct last night? Says Yuri. We're talking about the South Africa-Australia game. I was 2 points off. My prediction was 32-22, and the end score was 30 points to 22. So just the 2 margin away from getting it bang on. But guess the exact amount that Australia would score. Leroy Carter. See, I found it intriguing. I found out that he's only played outside centre, I think, once or twice in his whole career, and he's actually played more of halfback. But he looked pretty solid there in the Bunnings NBC. For Bay of Plenty, so maybe that is an option. Although, to be fair, that midfield combo, Fihi Finianofo and Leroy Carter look pretty handy for Bay of Plenty there. And I have a feeling Argentina will shock New Zealand this game, says Robert T. Clark at 12. So Clark at 12, and then you're moving Geordie to 13, I guess, the AI. And Nice Mate says Justice Affa. And also, I feel like this is to be the biggest comeback ever, says What's Up Guys podcast. And Geordie played 13 for the Canes a long time ago, says Crimson, and good morning, working and listening to you. Great Sunday morning, says Dave. So yeah, hopefully you do enjoy your work. It's kick-off only around 45 minutes away, which once again sounds like a long time, but we haven't even gone into the stats as of yet to do with the last week's contest as well as the last year's Rugby Championship. We've already been going 23 minutes. So it will be here. Before we know it, reckon the lads could deliver some bruising activity. Narawa as a true super Fijian, says Michael. And where in New Zealand are you, Hamish? Have you been to an AB's Bok test? I haven't even been to an All Blacks test match, but I am halfway between Christchurch and Dunedin. So that's pretty much the easiest way of describing it in terms of location. And we have got there about Geordie as well as another option for the 13. See, no one's really going, like I know that I said Leonard-Brown was injured, but then he would be available, and no one's really going for him. Are you covering bowling game next week? Depends on who else is playing at that time, but I do hope to do at least a couple games of the Carling Curry Cup. Like we are going to be doing the game tomorrow between the Bulls and the Griquas as well. We have got there Clark can't distribute, says the AI. And we have got there, we have to break the holy bread soon, says Michael, and nothing against. We're too strong in AB's 13 plus. And also we have got there, well, you've never been to an All Black game live? That is correct, yeah, never been to one. We've covered a lot of them on the channel. In fact, we've probably covered over 100 of them on the channel since the channel started, but never actually been to one. Maybe 100's too many. I'd say we're up to like 80 though for All Blacks matches, surely, somewhere around there. I don't really know how I can check that. I'll see what I can find out. How do you feel about the new Highlanders singing for their back row? Have you seen it? I didn't see it. So, don't really feel anything about it. What's your impression of Billy Proctor so far? I know there was a very strong call last season for him to get a go. There was, and he got one cap this season, and people were already saying to sack him. And, you know, Razor backs him. We've also seen the fact that in terms of ex-All Blacks coaches, they have said that they feel like he's going to be a great option at 13. And it does take a little bit of time to grow in that jersey because for so long it's been Rieko Ioane, even in years where people feel like maybe it shouldn't have been. But this season seems like it's the first real chance for an opportunity there. I see that I've got 76 live streams with All Blacks associated with it. So some of those are like post-match reviews or previews and stuff like that, squad announcements. So we've probably done like 50 All Blacks matches since the channel started. And we have got the All Blacks 13 plus. AS, agree, Rico do the job, says Rodeo. And IQ Lads, Pumas win with a bonus point. We'll set up a killer third round. So what is needed in this game to achieve that, Hamish? I think that they're going to have to be clinical. There were times last week where we saw New Zealand's defence actually struggle quite a bit, believe it or not. And, the thing is, you look through at the stats from last week, and you wouldn't think New Zealand would have won by as much as they did. I'm going to read off some, okay? Tries. We saw New Zealand, of course, get the 6, so that helped when Argentina only got the 3. Clean breaks. Argentina had 4. New Zealand had 2. Carries. New Zealand had less than 100 with the 99. Argentina had 127. Meters gained. Argentina had 339. New Zealand had 308. Defenders beaten. New Zealand had the least out of any side in the Rugby Championship first round with 17 compared to Argentina's 25. New Zealand had the lowest tackle percentage out of New Zealand or Argentina. They had 100% line out though. That is the one stat that is in their favour. They had less offloads than Argentina. They had the same for their scrum. They had 2 yellow cards compared to the 1. Everything there, if you read that off to someone, they would say, okay, so Argentina won. But no, that was not the case. The score looking very different to the statistics, which I think is also a perfect example of sometimes stats can be just a little bit deceiving. 41 points to 24. New Zealand didn't have all the flashy stuff of the line breaks, the clean breaks and whatnot, but when they took their chances, they were able to turn it into points. And those 2 last rolling maul tries of Samisoni Taukei'aho definitely took them away from being caught in that last match, because without those 2, they would have been a little bit nervous for the last kind of 10 or so minutes of the fixture. We have got, we need to continue playing good rugby because Eden Park next month. Says Blues, Nate, maybe this game will cause or showcase AB's hitting their peak. Says Zion, and this is why we need to improve by 15% today. Previous comment, please, Hamish. Says Marnus, I will try my best. Your previous comment was previous comment, please, Hamish, so I assume I'll have to go back even further. We've got good night, Hamish. From Marnus, I'm going to sleep now. Got to wake up early tomorrow morning and make me breakfast and a cup of coffee before the 3rd ODI between Proteas and Australia, so do enjoy that one. I haven't actually watched any of that series so far, but it sounds like South Africa aren't doing too bad. We have got, have you had the choice between commentating and going to a game? What would you choose? As in like commentating here or commentating as in the actual game? I would honestly do the commentary here. And I know that sounds a little bit weird to say that I'd rather do the commentary sitting in my house than going to Eden Park and watching a game of rugby, but it's just something that's a lot of fun about these live streams. I really don't know why, but it just seems to be much better than going to a match. I went to a Crusaders game last year just to see what it was like. It was Crusaders versus Highlanders. I decided to go to a random match, and it was okay, But I don't know. I feel like because I'm slightly short-sighted, I can't see what's happening on the far side of the field. So it's just more so, you're just there for the atmosphere. And that game had none because no one really cared because it was halfway through the season and pretty much over. We have there to buy as better ball, or is a better ball distributor. Look at how many tries the Chiefs wingers got this year playing outside Tobias, says Rodney. I do think also Daniel Rona should deserve a little bit of credit there in terms of what he was able to do for the Chiefs in that midfield combination. Leonard Brown, like Rico, has had their time or opportunity at the centre, time to let them go and move on. And also we have got the A from Christchurch, mate. I am not. Few hours south of Christchurch is where I am. We have got there, this is why we need to improve by 15%. And also what a disaster at Ellis Park last week. Said Lose Nate. It was pretty rough, but they fired back and they managed to get the win this week, getting them back into the Rugby Championship and now probably considered as second favourites heading into the next round. Of course, that is all dependent on what happens here with New Zealand. And GG Hamish waiting for my boys Vic and Vern. You'll see me in the NFL segment starting next week. So here's High Life. I do see you've got the New England Patriots logo there too. You've got there, remember we are building towards the Rugby World Cup, so as long as we win and keep improving, I'll be happy, says Rodney. And there's a huge difference between live club rugby and live international rugby, says Big Rig Joe. I do also know that, but, you know, I'm pretty happy doing these streams. Like I mention all the time, we've got people watching from all around the world, which is just absolutely awesome. Will you join later this afternoon on Vic and Vern's Daily Sports Show? I haven't been invited that I know of, so I probably can't just bust my way into it and say, hey guys, I'll come on. Like I'd have to get the invite, I would say, and I'll just have a quick look. Yeah, no invite for that one. Spot on if the chances match those stats in competition or in completion. I'd say this will be super tight, so Pumas win with a bonus point. What would the standings be then, says Warren? So we will quickly show you. This is the way that the table sits currently. So if Argentina were to win with a bonus point, depending on the points differential, they could find themselves going right up into either 1, 2, or 3 into this matchup. Now, if Argentina win this game by more than, I'll just say it's easy, more than 10 or 10 or more, they will go above South Africa in the standings. And of course, if they get themselves a bonus point straight away, no matter what the differential is, they will be up there too. We have got their tongue out here showing what Moana can do. Yeah, they had a really good game up against the Samoans. Was fantastic to see. We have got there as well. Hello to Ram Fairley Shield, Waikato Strong. Yeah, also a big change in the Ram Fairley Shield for the Bunnings EBC today. Waikato with Lima Sopawanga doing very well and getting that last minute kick. Egg Chasers must have too much money. He doesn't just watch games, he jumps on a plane and goes to them, says Godzone, but he is living his best life. He gets to travel the world watching rugby, and, you know, he's doing very well at the moment. And it's quite cool seeing that, you know, because sometimes you see it for football. Certain channels are big enough that they can do that, and the fact that there is a rugby channel that can also do that is quite cool, in a way, if that makes sense. And Pumas are a good team. I think it's great. These games are close, way better to watch. Says Brent. And, you know, that second half in Argentina last week, there were times where Argentina seemed like they were about to come back into it. No, I mean in the chat. Says Manus, depending on if I'm asleep or not, because I think that will be... When do they do that? That's about 7 a.m., isn't it? So that's 5 p.m. my time, so I will probably be sleeping at that point. I would rather do other streams as well, says NZCTC. And also we have got their... but they didn't get a bonus point, so they will need a bonus point from us or Argentina, says Kiwi Rob. I assume you're talking about South Africa, but just in terms of the table, if South Africa were to come to New Zealand and, you know, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if they were able to beat New Zealand twice, they wouldn't really need to worry about those bonus points. They'd just have to worry about then getting 2 more wins over Argentina, and they'd be defending champs back to back. But, of course, New Zealand don't want that to happen, and they don't want to let that happen at Eden Park of all locations. You've been missing some great games of the IDM Cup, or the Bunnings NBC as it is now known. Yeah, there's been some fantastic games, some close ones along the way. Are you going to show the game? Sadly, due to licensing and copyright, any match footage or audio will get me taken straight off YouTube with a copyright strike and banned for 3 months. So sadly, we can just do the talking about the game, which the good news is it's only about 35 minutes away from the kickoff of this contest. Anyone think Will Jordan could transition to first 5, has the skills and the vision? I don't know. Because at that stage, if you move Will Jordan to 10, I guess you're trying to play Ruben Love as your 15, because you've got to think who's going to fill that gap and who are you sacking from that 10 jersey to be able to put him in. Are you getting rid of Bowden? You're getting rid of Damien? Getting rid of Richie Moonga when he does return? I agree, South Africa, Australia being close today is a godsend, as every Women's World Cup and Pacific Nations game has been one-sided today. Yeah, there's been... In fact, have we had a close game of that Women's World Cup as of yet? I know that Samoa got beaten badly by the Australians. You're the man, my bro, says Sam. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated you being here for this matchup. No disrespect, but beat New Zealand twice. That is a big order. Absolutely. And it is no easy task. But, you know, I think that this Rugby Championship already this year has proven to us that, you know, it is unpredictable in terms of what can happen. Don't think we will see Tavatafa Nawai get a start this year. I think if he's going to get a start, it will either be up against Japan or maybe Italy. I think New Zealand are playing as well. Samoa were rubbish, these Godzone. And yeah, currently at the moment in the Women's World Cup, it's 17-0 to France over the Italians. Now, at least it's in the second half, so it's almost over. But, The closest game of the Women's World Cup that we have had so far is 38 points to 8. So a 30-point margin. Now, that game tomorrow, we are going to be hopefully covering between New Zealand and Spain. That could be a similar kind of scoreline as we have seen in a couple of the other games too. And heck yeah, everyone please don't back Dibaji. And also France versus Italy, 17-0 right now, and it's the closest game of the tournament so far. Yeah, and the fact that if France score 2 more tries, and one of them isn't converted successfully, and Italy stay on 0, that would be the closest game. Richie is overrated, says Kiwi Rob. I strongly urge you, Hamish, to go to an All Blacks game. You haven't lived until you do. Says Andre. And also, we play Scotland, Ireland, Wales, and someone else, says Highlanders fan, and chill with the Kiwi lads. Best commentary, says the Blues, Nate. Well, you're mentioning about the November internationals more, Nate, and what we can do is we can go like that, boom. These are the matches that they have got. Of course, they are also going to be playing up against the Japanese, I believe, is another match New Zealand have got. But they have got Ireland, Scotland, England, and Wales. So they don't play France, seeing as they did play them throughout the July internationals. And they also don't go head-to-head up against the Italians. So my apologies there. But maybe up against Scotland or Wales, they would consider starting Timothy Tavatavanawa. The biggest problem that New Zealand have at the moment is they've almost backed themselves into a corner of having to select their strongest team each and every week. The good news is this lineup, they've made a few switches. You know, someone like a Simon Parker as the number 8. That is something a little bit different that perhaps could lead to something good in the long run, because we've got to remember, throughout Razor's tenure as All Blacks coach, Wallace Satiti was not a first choice. In fact, he was probably not even second or third. And it was down to the fact that there were so many All Blacks injuries that we then got to see Wallace Satiti get that chance, and he became Breakthrough Player of the Year. You look at someone this year, Fabian Holland. You know, he's one of those young guys that they easily could have gone Scott Barrett, Tui Pilotu, or one of those combos, or maybe they don't move Tupavai to number 6 and left him at lock. Then we wouldn't have seen Fabian Holland develop into the player that he is. Sometimes it is worth the risk to give a young guy a few games and see what happens, because then you can get a Satiti or a Fabian Holland, because Holland's just not going anywhere now. Like every single week, even though he's one of the most inexperienced locks, in fact, he is the most inexperienced lock, he's the first name you put down on that team sheet, even though your captain's number 4 in Scott Barrett. And maybe we shouldn't have played warm-up games against Italy and Georgia. We need strong opposition. We got overconfident. Says Xander, are you going to do the Springboks women game tomorrow? Sadly, it does overlap with the matchup taking place in the Carling Curry Cup. So that is quite annoying, to be fair, because I would have liked to be able to do that game. But we'll have to try and do another South African game in the near future. I know that they're playing up against the Italians Monday next week. So maybe that one could work. And South Africa just must fix up their defence. 30 missed tackles is a lot. The All Blacks will have a field day with that kind of defence, says Mornay. And Jordan at fullback means one thing, running rugby. And, you know, Beauden Barrett does get a bit of stick, but him and Will Jordan actually, I feel, work very nicely together in terms of being on the same page. Beauden likes those little chips in behind, but the benefit of Jordan at the back is he's kind of like a Labrador. He will chase that ball anywhere it goes. And then in that case, you know, you've got that chance of getting that nice pop-up. Then he can fire it off for a support runner. Someone like a Cortez Ratama managed to get himself a try in the last week's fixture. Speaking of try scorers, at the moment, in terms of the try-scoring tally, there were 3 men heading into this round with 2 tries. Sevu Reece, Harry Wilson, and Samisoni Taukiaho. Now, once again, Taukiaho will find himself off the bench, so no Brodie McAllister in that case. But he's another guy that they might have to try and use at some point, or else I do think they'll probably go straight into a Safwa Moore and bring him back in. The ABs look like they mean serious business this year. They're looking strong at the moment. Those matches up against France were a lot more challenging than some people anticipated, but I feel overall the Kiwis handled them quite well, and I actually think it benefited them with how tough those games were compared to just having a couple breezy kind of contests. Samoa Wahine getting beaten was inevitable, but one has to consider the resources they have to work with, if all compared to bigger countries. And yeah, that is, I think, a really telling sign of this Rugby World Cup for the women's side of things. It is unfortunate, but it just shows, you know, if you're a country that back your women's rugby, you probably won't do too badly in this Women's World Cup. But if you're a country that doesn't throw a lot of resources at them, then you're probably going to get knocked out early. House of Pain ain't a walk in the park, Says Jeff J and 51-21 for New Zealand. Mark my words. Well, we will put a little star next to it, Xander, and we'll come back to it at the end. Will Pollard be enough? I think that Pollard, in the right scenario, can control a game very nicely. And I do think he did that up against the Australians. There were a few times where there were mistakes coming from South Africa, but not many of them were from Handré Pollard. And there was the one that he almost got caught out by, which was the disallowed try from the Australians. He's like a Labrador. It's an interesting compliment, says Big Rig. It is, but it is a compliment in its own, you know, because he just loves running after any ball, no matter where it is. Well, the rugby ball, I should say. 21-0, my score prediction, says the What's Up Guys podcast. I think that's because there's no women's ice hockey, says Big Rig. And if the ABs have a good season this year, I'm going to start calling them the Razor Blacks. It's quite a tongue twister, isn't it? Rabies? No, wait, rabies. No, never mind, don't call them that. I don't think that one through. That's not the nickname that the All Blacks are going to have. Under Scott Robertson, Demolition Squad, says Godzone. He didn't miss any kicks today. Now, Handré Pollard did really well in that number 10 jersey. I was so excited about my nickname too until I said it 5 times fast and it wasn't quite as good as I thought. I had to say rugby ball, says Cameron. And we have got the away machine. Yeah, it was not a good nickname. I'm not the best with nicknames, I'll be honest, and we've just seen why. Argentina just don't have the consistency. Why? I actually wish I knew for the Argentines. They're such a talented team when they're having their best day, but when they're not, they just, you know, something happens. And I don't know what it is. It's almost like a switch. Well, that was a real We're Live folks moment, says Big Rig. It was. And now I'm trying to stop myself from giggling about it. The stadium looks pretty empty. Hopefully we'll have a few more seats filled up for this contest in Buenos Aires. This match will be a cracker. It absolutely will be. The Rugby Championship is wide open. 3 sides with 1 win. Could be an upset, guys, says Colin, and that would make it 4 sides with 1 win. And the Rabies, you meant I got you. I thought it was good. You know, I was thinking Razor, Ray, and then ABs afterwards. Ray, B, yeah. It needs work. Who the hell ever called a team rabies? Yeah, no, we have to fix that. I say New Zealand get at least 40 points. And also, do you think they will send Marnie to New Zealand? I think Marnie Libot's got a decent chance. I'm not actually 100% sure when South Africa will name their squad for the New Zealand legs. It's like most of the Men's World Cup with the blowouts. Not many opportunities for countries to get into rugby. Yeah, and I do like the fact that this World Cup is going to be extended in terms of giving more teams an opportunity. But at the same time, it's going to hurt because there will be some pretty one-sided affairs. And that's what happened with the Rugby League World Cup when they eventually cut it down to very limited teams. What about the Rabs? Rabs? You know, we'll get there. We'll find a good nickname for them. What was the original one that was said before I came up with mine from Glenn? Razorback is what we used to go hunting in the bush, wild pigs. And also if Marnie plays, we're going to smash South Africa. I don't know. I think that if you have Marnie in the starting lineup and Pollard off the bench, that's a pretty dangerous duo. For me, Sasha Feinberg, Ngume Zulu, he's got his time, but I don't know whether or not it's going to be just right now. US South African coach, what would you focus more on, tightening up the defence or being more clinical on attack for the AB's games? I think at the moment for South Africa, at times they seem to be just trying to do too much, and it's actually their handling that's letting them down. Why does the All Blacks look like Instagram girls sticking their tongues out when taking selfies? Says Master Sam Ray. You'd have to ask them. Do it to their face and film it. See what happens. We have got our Marnie must retire now, says Mohadin. I don't like the All Blacks versus the Springboks, but it's happening twice, and it's happening at Eden Park. That is the big one. ABs don't go on holiday to Argentina. And morning, bro. Thanks for another stream. Let's go, AB, says Matt. And there too. I was about to say that I hope they leave that Lebok at the airport. Says Bruce. How about rabies babies? No, I think that's well, it's not the worst thing ever, but it's probably not top 10. And closer game, I reckon AB's for the victory by 12 or so. So with that 12, Colin, are you saying it's a bonus point win or not? We see there 55% have said to stick with consistency for this All Blacks lineup rather than giving the new guys a run. So that is exactly what Scott Robertson has done here. And we have got there the Springboks must raise their game if they have any chance of beating the All Blacks. What did you think of the Springboks today? I thought that they were better than the first match in terms of finishing the game, but they still weren't perfect. And there's still a bit of work to be done, but I think that Rassi will iron out a few of the wrinkles. And by the time they get to New Zealand, they'll be a well-oiled machine. Raisins says, Crimson, that's probably the best one so far, to be fair. But, you know, there's still probably something better. And Link look to play rugby, the look, says Christian, and also we get the Argentina by 1 point, says Johannes. We have cracked some serious Belgian brew. Been on the drinks a little while, haven't you, Michael? I know that you mentioned it right at the start of the stream as well. I made the bet with my friends that if we lose the Eden Park game, I have to go bald. See, originally, I'm hesitantly going to say this, and it's not going to be a forfeit that pops up in the near future, but I was going to say before the Australian matches, if they won both matches up against South Africa in South Africa, I was going to go for a buzz cut. Now, they won the first one, and I got nervous. But luckily, I never mentioned it during that stream, so there was never the chance of it happening. But I was slightly nervous that it could have happened. Yeah, all right, we love it, says Michael. And Labok is a good player, but just doesn't seem as made for the big situations, or is Rassi seeing it differently? I think Rassi sees something in him that a lot of people are choosing not to see in terms of that attacking danger. When's the rugby starting? Starting in only 20 minutes' time. Will be the kickoff. We'll have the national anthems, the haka, and then we're right into the rugby between these two sides. Argentina surely have to run it better this week. Well, that's the thing. Argentina, I'm going to tell you some stats from last week because they did pretty well. Argentina, in terms of the carries, Albanoz had 14, Oviedo 14, Garcia had the 12, and Montoya had 11, so that's not really the important one, but defenders beaten. This statistic here, Albanoz had 7 defenders beaten, Cinti had 6, Juan Martin Gonzalez had 6, he made his way off the bench as well, so that just shows how busy he was, and Juan Cruz Malia, he beat 3 defenders off the bench. The only All Black in the whole top 10 of defenders beaten was Beauden Barrett with 3. And all of Juan Martin Gonzalez, Cinti, and Albanoz at least had double what Beauden Barrett did have for that one. In terms of the meters gained, Albanoz had the most meters out of any player in this Argentina versus All Blacks first match. He had 74. Savia had 64, so he actually had the same meters as Joseph Suali'i from the first round of the Rugby Championship. In terms of points, Albanoz is at the top of the bunch with 14. Beauden Barrett in second with 11. Tackles made, Oviedo made 15. Jordi Barrett made 14. Pedro Rubiolo, he had 14. And then 13 for Savia and Karefi, as well as Holland in there as well. We have got their stats don't mean anything. Look at the stats of USA versus UK yesterday. Similar tackles, possession, and tackles. Yet it ended 69 points to 7. It's exactly what we mentioned earlier on in the stream. How I said pretty much across the whole board, Argentina did better than New Zealand in terms of, once again, we'll list it. They had more offloads. They had more tackle percentage. They had 8 more defenders beaten. They had 31 more meters carried. They had 30 extra carries. They had 2 more clean breaks. But they lost by 17. We have got there 20 minutes. Looks like an hour getting to 11 p.m. Here, I won't listen much, says Mashihu, but it is greatly appreciated you guys in South Africa who have stayed up that little bit later. But hopefully we don't put you to sleep before the match gets underway. Paulo with all his kicks over, O'Connor missed many of his. So he won and they lost, no need for Labok. Says Bruce there. And we have got there Brazer, says WJ, and also we have got there Mackenzie's Narcomon. And also all 3 Barrett's brothers playing again. They certainly are. We will look through at the starting lineup once again. While we are at it, this is the Argentine side first off. They've made a few changes compared to what we saw in match number 1. Juan Martin Gonzalez, he comes in as the starting number 7. Marcos Crema makes his way to the bench. Thomas Albanoz, the starting 10, alongside Garcia. That was a dangerous duo for last week's game. And we see Mateo Carreras come in as the number 11. No Rodrigo Isgrove for this game, so Batista Del Gui drops to the right wing. And overall, a very strong back 3. Like Mateo Carreras, we need to mention him just a little bit here as well, because last year's competition, he was absolutely insane in terms of what he was able to do. He did have 314 metres gained. That was second for the overall in the competition, just behind Will Jordan, who had 437. Mateo Carreras, he bet 17 defenders, the same number as Will Jordan and Artie Savia, chasing after Cheslin Colby, who had the 24. Mateo Carreras also had 4 clean breaks alongside Shoka Barres and Oviedo, and then he also got himself the 3 tries last year. Jordan got himself the 4, and Clark had himself the 6 for the New Zealanders. They have made a few changes, only really in the forward pack though, and that is to do with that loose forward trio. Simon Parker gets his debut as the number 8 with Artie Savia slotting in at 7. Ether de Groot, Cody Taylor and Fletcher Null will remain as the front row. Also should mention Cody Taylor milestone match here, playing in his 100th game. For the All Blacks, Scott Barrett and Fabian Holland in the locking duo. That has proven to be quite a handy one for New Zealand this season, as well as Tupavai when he slots in as the number 6. Cortez Ratama and Bowden Barrett as the 19 combination. Geordie Barrett and Billy Proctor in the midfield with the experience at the back of Rika Ioane, Sevu Reece, and also Will Jordan. We have got there... Oh, one moment. We'll go like this. We have got there, the boys want to see your pants, says Delmain. I mean, they're just plain pants, really. Nothing too special about them. They're not like dress pants or anything along those lines. We have got there, I'm looking forward to Sunday World Rugby, making it compulsory for every nation to have players' surnames on the back of the jerseys. You know, it looks way more professional. Says Master. And also we have got there, Cam starts at Eden. I don't know if he'll be back in time, though. Cam Roygard, because he was initially named for probably 6 to 9 weeks out. Now, we haven't had another update on him as of yet, so maybe it will be all right. Zambian times, the same as South Africa, says Mashihu. And then All Blacks going to be champions once again in all their games, says Ronald. And also, we have too. What the chat is going very quick. It is all flying right by. We've got, wasn't really an improvement on last week's game. Still believe it was a draw in the eyes of the fans, but on the scoreboard is what matters. Australia had their chances, but weren't good enough. Says John. Wait, so we're talking about the South Africa-Australia game, or are we talking about the game between New Zealand and Argentina? I think that both sides, interestingly enough, Angus Tarvale and Stephen Donald both back in New Zealand win 13+. Justin Marshall and Jeff Wilson both going 1-12. But no one backing Argentina to get the victory in this contest. So could there be a big upset on the cards very soon? We're good there, the Kiwi Lads Fashion Hour. And also, I think this game will go down to the wire. Says, cool story. I got stung by a bee, but I carried on anyway. Carried on doing what? Crimson. Like carried on typing, maybe? And we have got there, Jez Hamish, thank you for another one. And also we've got the any cards getting dished out. Well, we did have 3 cards in the last match between these two sides, 2 for New Zealand. So once again, they are looking to be the most penalised side in terms of yellow cards of the whole Rugby Championship. Alongside that, you've got Argentina got themselves 1 of Mako Vivas. Rassi, after today, there was a 7-10 out of performance. You agree, Hamish, or was it a 6 out of 10? Says Xander. I mean, there's not much of a difference between the 7 and the 10, is there? So, the 7 and the 6. So I'll just go 6.5. Be impartial. Yeah, get there. Proctor going to have a big game tonight. Says Glenn. And congrats, Cody Taylor. And good luck, Simon Parker. Says Peter there. And also, number 1. This could be the beginning of another All Blacks dynasty. Says NZ Right. Although I do think that for that to be the case, they do have to go very well up against South Africa. And also those November internationals as well. We've already mentioned about who they will be playing in those November international matches. Everyone in the Six Nations apart from France and Italy. They have got the English, the Irish, and the Welsh alongside Scotland as their upcoming matches. So if they can win all of those alongside, I think they've also got Japan as another match that they're going to play. I think they'll be more than happy how that one sits. For the Argentines, they have got Scotland, England, and Wales. But they don't actually have a game on that first week of November. So I'm not too sure whether or not they'll have like a warm-up game of some sort up against some random side. Maybe they play someone like a Chile or someone along those lines just to give them some rugby heading into that big match up against the Welsh, because that will be a crucial one to win for the Argentines. But the Welsh, they will be fired up as they have got themselves their first win in quite some time up against the Japanese. We have got there, hey mate, are you live streaming the game here? Sadly, due to licensing, any match footage or audio will get you taken straight off YouTube. So sadly, there are very limited options in terms of being able to watch the game live on YouTube without it getting copyright struck. But we will be doing the play-by-play in terms of everything that is happening. How's the D-Day or a yard glass, Hamish Times? How's the D-Day? Currently, I assume you're talking about how long till kickoff. It's 15 minutes until it does take place. Do you think the injuries that the Wallabies had today impacted the result? I think that losing Tom Wright in 4 minutes hurt the Wallabies right from the get-go. And I know that, like, most people would say, oh, you can't blame it on one player. But I think losing Tom Wright and also Nick White within the first 15, like, it was always going to be harder for Australia. McDermott, I thought, did pretty well. And Callaway at times actually slotted into that 15 role quite nicely. But, you know, Tom Wright was a game changer last week. I feel like they needed him for more than a couple minutes this week as well. I predict a punch-up at the 34th minute. If I'm right, Hamish, you have to go bald. Why the 34th minute? And what's actually a punch thrown? Or does it just have to be a bit of a scuffle? I feel like I need the terms and conditions here before I sign up for anything. ABs get a good head start, a good start. Argentina will drop their heads typically, allow emotions to get the loss. Says Colin, yeah, I do think that the Pumas, for them to be competitive in this game, they have to get off to a flying start. First 20 minutes, they have to score at least one try. And, you know, it's not going to be easy. Now, just showing Thomas Lavanini sadly not playing in this contest, but we all know how fired up that man can be. And also, good use, don't see a red Frank, says the AI, and up the wires all the way to the final, says Glenn, and Pumas are passionate. Exactly right. If you allow the Pumas into a contest, they will definitely take it to the last minute. And we almost saw that last week. It was those two quick tries from Samisoni Taukei'aho that kind of turned the game around for New Zealand in a time where Argentina had themselves quite a bit of possession here, but at 40-minute mark, Jesper Vesa set the tone. Others will follow, says Xander. I reckon the ABs will start humming. I feel sorry for the opposition, says Michael. And I mean, last year is probably a decent one to look at here. One moment, we'll go like that. There we go. So first match up against Argentina. I feel like I had a little pointer stick that had a hand on it. But I'll have to use my own hand. This game, New Zealand did end up losing by the 8 points. It's an awkward angle. Look like I'm trying to make like an ostrich or something like that. But 8 points loss, and then from there, New Zealand won by 32. In this case, they won by 17 in the first match. So are we going to expect an even bigger scoreline here now that they've worked out a bit of what Argentina are going to do? Although I do also think that it's hard to work out what Argentina are going to do, because I don't think Argentina know what they're going to do. Sometimes they just go out there and it looks like they make it up, but it can be extremely effective in that regard. We have got there, I'll check back at the 34th minute, Hamish. Says Spiritual there. Backline shouldn't have to do much or anything fancy with this forward pack. Just do the basics well and the points will come, says Godzone. And also what Argentina game doesn't have a punch up. Well, they don't quite throw punches. Although Marcos Kremer would like to if they were legal. I would say he would be in more fights than any other player. Good morning, everyone. 30 points to 22 cannot be this final score. AB's 30, of course, says Georgina. Now, someone might have to remind me, what was my score prediction? I think I went 38-31 in favour of New Zealand, but I also said that if New Zealand find their rhythm, they could win 42-15. You're pointing at an empty seat, says Big Rig there. And also, you happen to be pointing to the wrong side of the screen. Was I actually? Like, is it not over there for me? Or at least it is for me, but I guess it's actually mirrored, isn't it? So does that mean I should have been pointing that way? That's confusing. I should just not point. So tell me, Hamish, where did you get that tie? I've not seen that tie on you yet. I do believe I got it about 5 years ago. And I have worn it on streams before, but the last stream I did have that other tie on. And people said it didn't suit the shirt. So I just decided I'll grab one with some dots on it. See if that goes better. Look at this Rugby Championship. Look at this Rugby Championship wanker. Now, I assume that is the one who was spamming earlier on and not myself, Nuz, in there. And at least in 20, Argentina will have a good game but lose ultimately. And also we have got there my bad bot. And also thanks, bro. And by punch up, I mean a push and a shove with that shirt collar grabbing men do. Says Big Rig. And also, game is sold out, almost 50k people. Yeah, they are piling in now. That shot earlier on must have been from a lot earlier. And also, Hamish, don't become a weatherman. Yeah, I get my lefts and my rights wrong doing that. That's a lot of work, though, being a weatherman. You got to, go outside and look at clouds and whatnot and study patterns. Sounds like hard work, but I can tell you the lineup, ladies and gents, for this match. Argentina have got Mako Vivas, Julio Montoya, and Pedro Delgado as the front row. Julio Montoya, a lot of experience in that number 2 jersey. Here's the captain also for this game. Franco Molina alongside Pedro Rubiolo in the locking duo. Pablo Matera at the number 6. Juan Martin Gonzalez starts at 7 rather than Marcos Crema, who makes his way off the bench. And Joaquin Oviedo scored the try last match and is a very physical individual. Garcia and Thomas Albanoz as that 19 combination. Santiago Shoka Perez and Lucio Cinti in the middle of the field. I think that Shoka Perez is due for a good game here. Last year, he was one of the standout 12s. In fact, I think a lot of people were picking him as their 12 of the competition. This year, it's a bit more undecided. But I want to see him do well. And him versus Geordie Barrett, I think, will be a very intriguing one. In that regard, we do see now Cody Taylor making his way out onto the field first. Scott Barrett looks unwell. Is he all right? It's very sad, Scott Barrett. In fact, the whole team do. What's happened? Cody Taylor, he will make his way out onto the field. 100 caps for New Zealand. Mateo Carreras back into the side. Delgi at 14 and Juan Cruz Malia as the number 15. There for the New Zealanders, it is Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor for his 100th, and Fletcher Null slotting in as the 3. Scott Barrett and Fabian Holland in the locking duo with Tupavai. Artie Savia moves to 7 from 8. And Simon Parker slots in for his debut in that number 8 jersey. Cortez Ratama alongside Bowden Barrett in that 19 combination. Geordie Barrett remains in the side too. So all 3 Barretts partnering up in this contest with Billy Proctor on the outside at 13. Rico Ioane number 11. Severis number 14 after 2 tries last week. And Will Jordan slots in yet again as that number 15. But Cody Taylor has made his way onto the field. We do see there Argentina just now making their way out of the tunnel to get ready for this matchup. We have got there Unreal Ty Hamish. Says, Michael, you had the right height as to where you were pointing, just to the wrong side. See, for me, it's on the score. Wait, where's the scoreboard? Is it this side? Because for me, this is the scoreboard. But now I'm starting to think I've been set up by my camera. Maybe raise your right hand so we know if you're mirrored. This is my right hand. Is it? It might be mirrored. No, but the background's the right way around. Isn't it? No, that Coca-Cola's backwards. I think I've been set up. We over there, love your work, go, says Jim. That was probably poor timing reading that, wasn't it, when I'm just trying to work out how mirrors work. We have got there, can't wait for the ABs to take on the Bok. And ABs 23, Argentina 22. And let's go, Cody says Rodney there. And let's go, Fabian Holland. And also, New Zealand must have the heaviest front back at the moment out of all teams, says Claus. And no way, Amish, you the man, bro. Says Nuz. And also, let's go, the AB, says Matthew. The chat is going very quick once again. We have got there, I feel like the tie's choking me softly. There you go. And complete opposite, says Mr. Tuba Dude. And other side, right, okay. So now on, I'll have to remember to point this way, even though for me, it's actually that side. So that is a bit of a confusing one. It's on the other side of your screen. And scoreboard is on the left as we see you. See, for me, it's right. I can almost lick it I could point at it instead. I don't know why I'd have to lick it. What are the conditions like? Looks like a nice day for this matchup. Scoreboard is on your left as we see you. So it's that side. Interesting. That's weird that I can see it differently to what you guys can. But I'll have to keep it in mind. But now, the All Blacks national anthem, New Zealand's national anthem, being sung, more focused than sad, says Nars Williams. But yeah, looks like a nice day. Humidity was relatively low as well. The sun is still out, although that will start to disappear as the match progresses. Do see Wallace Aditi back from his injury. Tamaiti Williams also back for this game. We've got the laughing face from Lilia there as well. And people are obsessed with big forwards. We allowed some backs that can play too. Says Leighton, and who's the ref? Says Yuri. I'm not actually too sure who the referee is for this game as of yet, but they do normally tell us just before the kickoff. So as soon as I know that, I will, of course, let you know. Do you lick scoreboards often? Not on camera. Sometimes, you just get curious. Where are they playing? They're playing in Buenos Aires for this game in Argentina. So 2 home games in a row for the Argentines. Then they will head over to Australia for the next 2 matches. Can you do the haka for us with the boys? I sadly don't have any of the boys with me. So me doing it by myself in a suit and tie, I don't know if that's the best combo. Demo is the ref's name, says Elvis. And also we have got I had sausages and eggs, so there you go. Nice little bit of a pre-match feed for yourself. Cody Taylor, he will be hungry to get himself a try in his 100th game. Samasoni Taukiaho, he'll make his way off the bench after 2 tries last week. Currently leading in the try-scoring tally. In the start of this round, it was Sevu Reece, Harry Wilson, and Samasoni Taukiaho. But a big finish to the New Zealand national anthem. The Barretts all side by side, tuning out. Enjoy go the All Blacks, and also Haka will let us know what the ABs are feeling. It was completely a stadium lip match. And Timu is the ref's name, and ABs by 20, says Jeff J. Hurry up and just play the game, says Takarangi. Hopefully I've said that correctly. Yeah, they do still have the Argentine national anthem. Now, it is one of the longest anthems around. I'm kind of drunk already, says Travel. Is it morning where you are, or is it nighttime? It might be nighttime for a lot of you guys who are tuning in. I had Borivors and 8 eggs. And 5 minutes, let's go, says Colin. But what we will do is we will look through at the bench as well, ladies and gentlemen, for this All Blacks and Argentine side. Inacio Ruiz, Tita Choparo, and Joel Scalevi as the number 18. Guido Pitti and Marcos Crema there as the 19 and 20. Benitez Cruz, Herreras, and also Picaro as the number 23. They got a whole, marching band. Well, they're not marching, so what are they? Just a band? Orchestra, that's the name of them. New Zealand, they've got Samasoni Taukiaho as the number 16. Tamaiti Williams returns from injury at 17 with Basilio Tossi, keeping a spot as the 18. Josh Lord and Wallace Satiti, both men have not had many minutes for the ABs this year. In fact, I think they've had none. Then from there, Finley Christie, Quinn Tupai, and Damien McKenzie again to make his way off the bench for this New Zealand side. Keep your pants hidden. It's no one's business if you got poor dress sense, says Georgina. I feel like is that like a shot fired at the same time? We have got the Argentina 32, New Zealand 25. Most folks here know where'd that go. Does appear know my atrocious record in choosing winners. See, I'm normally the same, but last game between South Africa and Australia, I was off by 2 points in the correct score. So that means this game I might be relatively close, although it would have to be a high-scoring game for that to be the case. I went 38 points to 31 in favour of the All Blacks. ABs, or big up to all the ABs fans, and big up to all the Argentine fans too, says Jeff J. And Will Jordan needs some points today. It was surprising when he didn't score last week, but he is one of those players that is always in the action. To get a try assist last week, in fact, he might have got 2. And kia ora, I'm watching from Chermside in West Brisbane, says Takarangi there. And also, no, not this weekend, Lilia B. And 2 minutes, guys, says Colin. Yeah, we are very close to the national anthem, just about finished for the Argentine. And then we will be into the haka. Let's go Mighty to Mighty. Well, we will have to wait a little bit longer till we do get to see him. I did kind of want him to start in this game so that he'd be partnered with the other 2 Crusaders options in the front row, but instead he will make his way off the bench. I would say they'll probably give him about 30 minutes at the end of this one. Jordan is playing fullback. One reason it's running rugby reminds me of Christian Cullen. Says Jeff J, you want to bet? Says Travel. What on? Like the scoreline? And knock says Damo. Who is there, Damo? Do let me know. This orchestra is going hard at the moment, as the cool kids would say. I'm not going to say it ever again. However, there's on the Manu Samoan squad. And the match is taking place in New Zealand. It is in Argentina for this match. But it will be kicking off in just the 1 minute time. Hamish wants an outfit check. And we have got their bench hopefully making a big impact. You see, off the bench last week for New Zealand, we did see some good work from Samasoni Taukiaho. But overall, I do think that New Zealand's last 20 minutes is still somewhere that they've received quite a bit of criticism. You're an egg, bro, lol, says Matt there. I'll take it as a compliment. We have to get there kia ora from Tuakau, from Paikea. The national anthem of Argentina has been sung. I told you it was a long one. I think it's about 5 minutes, if not longer. But now the haka just about to take place. He still wound up from that Boca game earlier, Mr. H, says Glenn. And beautiful sunset at the stadium. Yeah, looks like a perfect evening for a game of rugby. And Cody Taylor, this is a big chance for him. His 100th game. I believe Artie Savia is not too far off that Centurion mark as well. Los Pumas 38 to New Zealand's 29. And there says Lilia. And also we've got the Hey Hamish. We're so close to seeing Fabian Holland and Josh Lord as a combination. See, I think they see them both as 5s, though, at this point in time. Cody Taylor, he will lead the haka. All Blacks looking that little bit extra fired up for this one. Who do you support? I'm just hoping it's a good game. Like, the All Blacks, if they go into this contest and they win it, and then they're 2 wins from 2 heading into that game up against South Africa, that's heavily beneficial for the All Blacks. But if Argentina win this game, we could have our closest rugby championship in quite some time. So there's the 2 sides to it. We have got there going bald. Says Brian, just means that I'm being very stressed, you know. It's hard dealing with people like Brian all the time. We have got there All Blacks, of course. Says Miranda, and also we've got there Cody 100. Yeah, he's going to be fired up big time. And also, he hasn't had too many rolling maul tries in recent times. Intense haka, says Master. Yeah, they look focused at the moment, the ABs. They will want to go out there for the quick fire start. Of course, do let me know your score predictions for this matchup, ladies and gentlemen. And who do you think will score the first try, the player to get it done? I think Sever Reese has got a decent chance. He did score himself 2 tries last week. Cody Taylor's 100th. Hopefully we win for him. And Jordan going to be a handful. Says Jeff J. And Hurry 910. Hurry up, haka. Then Pumas haka start if I was boss. And who's the number 8 again? So his name is Simon Parker. And he's one of those young guys that, you know, he's got a lot of potential in there as well. And we have got there Vamos for the Pumas, says Rodney. Cody Taylor, he will be more than happy to be out there. There were talks of whether or not they would decide to leave him out for this contest and then chuck him in the deep end for that match up against the South Africans. But it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case. Instead, they are going to go with the Centurion here. Getting ready for this matchup. We've got the 2 sides in the huddle. It will be Nick Berry as the referee for this contest. And we have got the, my team may not win today's floorball tournament. I haven't heard of what floorball is. Is Messi playing? He is not, but Mateo Carreras is, and he has got quite the lethal step on him. Damn, them voices sounded low today. Let's go All Blacks, says Tanner 2. I think a few of the players might actually have a case of the sniffles. Because when they were coming out of the tunnel, a lot of them were sniffing. So maybe they might have a cold or something. In which case, maybe that's why they sounded a little bit deeper for the haka. The crowd very happy already, and this game hasn't even got underway. We have got there Simon Parker, says Blues Nate. Yeah, he will be one to keep an eye out for, and hopefully he has a great debut. But this match now underway between the Pumas and the All Blacks. Thomas Albanoz to kick it off from left to right. And we are now underway and nicely taken near the sideline by New Zealand. And I think it was Fabian Holland with the first touch of the day. Cortez Ratama on across to Cody Taylor for his 100th game. I think Rugby Championship is over if the All Blacks win with a bonus point. I wouldn't guarantee it. I think that unless New Zealand do get at least one big win over South Africa in New Zealand, this is still well and truly up for grabs. Play already, says Georgina. They are underway. Juan Cruz Malia trying to sneak through, tackle by Jordy Barrett, who did make 14 tackles in last week's game. Joaquin Oviedo, he also got himself a try. And mate, loving the tie, says Roy Reeve. Do appreciate that a lot. I did decide to switch it up for this game, and I've just realised it's pretty much Argentine colours, isn't it? Now off to the left, Garcia with the pick and go. Albanoz has to play halfback. Nice quick hands from the Pumas lock, and that'll be an offside advantage going against New Zealand. Just 1 minute into the contest. Garcia again going off to the right. Nice step, almost through, looking for the risky offload. They'll go back now for the penalty. I'm ready, says Elvis. And Mr. Cam Roygard need him out there, says Blues Nate. And already a bit of push and shove. We're about 2 minutes in. Ethan de Groot found the smallest man on the Argentinian field. He does not like Mateo Carreras. For some reason, I don't know what happened. Show us the game, not your face. The face is on Sky. Or sorry, the face is not on Sky. At the moment, Nick Berry's face is on Sky, but the game is on Sky. So is Stan Sport is another option. DSTV has it too. And bunch up first minute, says Mr. Chubadoo. And also a bit of Argy Bargy, says RJJ. Right. There's a bit of a conversation going on here. Okay, they're going to go for the posts in the scenario for Argentina. This game is going to be a mess, isn't it? There's a chance. Wear some reflective sunglasses at least, says Michael. YouTube weren't born yesterday. There's been people taken down for less. You know, someone's shown 3 seconds of audio and they're gone. We have got a super sticker from Matthew and there as well. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated for your generosity. True Hamish, damn. I am De Groot. And how's it evening all, says Arno there. Now, I want to know what fired up Ethan De Groot so much that Mateo Carreras could have done. Because there is definitely a size discrepancy between the two. And morning guys from Porirua, go the AB, says Val, but now lining up this kick. Thomas Albanos, the leading point scorer in the competition, or at least he was after round 1, and that is another 3 for him, giving Argentina and Buenos Aires the lead, 3 points to 0. All good, bro. Says Matthew there, and Argentina draw first blood. I mentioned about that quick start needed for the Argentines. I do think that they will want that try at some point, relatively near future too. Bowden Barrett ready to kick this one off for New Zealand. Not the start that the Kiwis would have been after, but going deep with the kickoff. Last week they were quite competitive in the kickoff department, but Jordy Barrett, missed tackle from Tupavai, but Cortez Ratama makes a crucial one on Santiago Chocabarres. Argentina already look like they have that little bit more aggression than they had last week. Ethan De Groot bumped off. Fabian Highlanders teammate finishes off the tackle. We have got there, Squidge had a 25-minute video scrubbed by YouTube last weekend for clips. Says Jimbo. Yeah, they're pretty strict with it in terms of the copyright system. Nicely run forward by Bowden Barrett out towards the left wing. Now Scott Barrett. Balls there, about 42 metres out from New Zealand's line. He's told to get out of there, Juan Matan Gonzalez. He's having a bit of a fiddle with the ball. Now Tupavai pops the no-look pass up to Jordy Barrett. A little bit of incohesion here for the All Blacks. Cross kick from Jordy Barrett. Tried to kick it to himself. That didn't work. And Argentina now back in position with Batista Del Gui. Gets the offload to Mako Vivas. Got himself yellow carded last week. Short ball from Juan Cruz Malia. Jordy Barrett. In fact, that time it was Proctor in the breakdown. Now Simon Parker missing the tackle on Thomas Albanos, who's a dangerous ball runner. One of the big keys for the Argentines. We have got there going deep. See the actress, says Bruce, and good start for Argentina. Absolutely, they have started this match with a lot more possession. Savia having to make the tackle. Ratama joining in. Now short side, Oviedo, another pick and go. It's great phase play, 7 in a row. Garcia going off to Pablo Matera. Dominant tackle by Simon Parker, who tried to chop him in half. Now Savia in the breakdown, got one hand on the ball but lost his footing. And it's all Argentina at the moment possession-wise in this game. They are not too keen to give up that position anytime soon. Oh, and the penalty goes the way of New Zealand, in off the feet from Argentina. And Nick Berry should favour Argentina to help the Aussies. Says Yuri absorb the pressure early. Oh, New Zealand going for the early quick tap. Kicking it downfield. Argentina will retreat nicely though and can kick this ball into touch, but a good territory gain for New Zealand there. 30 metres out from Argentina's line. And it will be the line out for the ABs. I know this because although I'm watching it, I am having to watch it whilst listening to you. Says Daniel. In early days, go the mighty AB, says Val, and ill-disciplined by the Pumas. Says Master, yeah, just diving in off the feet there. Right, Cody Taylor ready to throw this one. The All Blacks having 100% line-out accuracy last week with 15 from 15. Oh, Albanos. It's the finger thing again. I think he's got the same thing Taniela Tupou had earlier on. We described it as pretty much Taniela Tupou's pinky was going out there like that. It did not look nice. They had to put it back into place for that man. Knock on from Artie Savia. What direction are his pinkies facing? Now off to the right. Oh, drop ball from Juan Cruz Malia. It's catching. They will go back for the penalty in favour of Argentina. Messi so far, says Master. And also we could there come on the ABs. Hello to my cousin in Howick, says Roy. And keep up the pressure. And Albanos stood on his own player, says Jimbo. Juan Cruz Malia just sharing half a moment there with Rico Ioane, who's got a game face on. Wasn't really acknowledging the Argentine 15. And got to see a scrum, says the AI underdog. Oh, yeah, nah. Albanoz is still struggling with his finger or his hand. I think maybe he's like dislocated something in there. But he's not having fun at the moment. But, of course, they can't give him the green whistle because if they give him the green whistle, he has to go off. And he won't be able to return. But Nick Berry now just blowing the whistle twice. Good morning from the beautiful blue sky, snowy mountain in Queenstown, says John. Is he going to be all right to continue here? Albanoz. Oh, he looks like he's in so much pain at the moment. He's almost... Oh, there's a cut on the hand too. He might have, like... Oh, it was his own player who stood on his hand, said Nick Berry. So his hand... I think he's ended up with a hole in his hand from someone's sprig. Like someone has clean gone through his hand. We're going to see it now. That didn't look too bad, actually. But yeah, he is in a lot of pain. Okay, no, never mind. That wasn't blood. That was actually the wristband that he's got on that is red. That was deceptive. I thought that he had blood kind of gushing out, but no, I think it was just that he got his knuckles stood on, which still is not fun. Now, ready to go. Argentina managing to retain their line out, going off to the right-hand side. Now attack and run from Statistical. Shocker Perez in the middle of the field. Garcia pops it up to the referee. It's gone backwards. Little bit of an awkward one that was taken in front of the kick. So it should have been a penalty for accidental offside. And it's instead going to be a penalty for Fabian Holland being offside. Okay, Sevi Reese just asking the question. Nick Berry says no, he thought it wasn't. And we got the Imagine finding a finger on the field. Sausage sizzle. Says red. And out says Matthew. And here we go again. Come on the All Blacks. Good morning from Vanuatu. Welcome and I hope you're doing extremely well. Already 8 minutes through in this contest. And Argentina leading by 3 points. They are going to take on another shot at the post. Albanoz still is not happy. He is grasping at his hand here. Big smile on the face of Nick Berry. He is having fun. And no advantage rear, says the AI underdog. And ABs need to pull their fingers out, says Matthew, in 25 minutes. It looks like Nick Berry was offside too. We're going to see it here. So he kicks... Oh, no, my apologies. It did slightly touch Billy Proctor's, which then puts that Argentine player on. Kind of brush Proctor's shoulder. However, they're very impressed with Fabian's work rate on the field. Broken finger, says Jimbo. I think it was just that he got his hand stood on by a sprig. Which was probably not too pleasant. Now, kicking that one. Albanoz missing away to the left-hand side. I think his mind might be on other things. He's still holding his hand. And he's looking to the sideline. Is he going to come off here for Albanoz? That would be a massive, massive change there for Argentina. Yes, they have Santiago Carreras, but they definitely would have wanted Albanoz there. However, the broken finger and affects the toes. More so probably just the pain of it. He looks like he's having an awful time out there on the park. Nice take under the eyeball from Mateo Carreras. Wins the aerial battle up against Will Jordan, who's going for the counter ruck, but it's picked up by Juan Matan Gonzalez. Now off to the right-hand side. Juan Cruz Malia goes to Albanoz, who even with the one hand is running the ball hard. Juan Cruz Malia looking for the 50-22. Bowden Barrett is back there. And this one doesn't quite find the touchline. Passed across from Malia once again. Albanoz goes high off the left boot. Taniela Tupou finger was bad. It was. You could see that it was fully sideways. Oh, that finger short side from Garcia. It will be the penalty going against the Argentines. Hamish Team All Blacks are the world's best. There's Kevin there. Nearly the same start as South Africa, says Joshua. And also we have got there, he's out of here, says Jimbo, and why let him kick? He's in trouble. Or I think they probably, like, to be honest, he could have just shanked that one. But he just doesn't look happy at the moment, Albanoz. With all the strapping on his hand, he's pretty much walking around the field like this. Is my best acting skill of the matter. Like, he doesn't look too happy. But maybe it's one of those ones that eventually it will start to feel a little bit better. And now, off the back to Pavai for the rolling maul pass was not good to Ratma, but the All Blacks lucky to have a penalty advantage for the offside, and now they have the chance to add the extra 3. Looks like Ratma staying down a little bit too here. He might have taken a knock. The All Blacks have already lost Cam Roigard and Noah Hotham. They're going to lose Corte Ratma as well. I'm trying to work out where he got hit. I think it was on the chest. And we have got the early pressure from Argentina, is to be expected, still early, says John. And Ratama winded himself, says Red 7. Oh, he just got crushed, unfortunately. Julian Montoya just landing on that rib cage up the top. It looks like Beauden Barrett will go for the nice, easy 3-hitter straight out in front of the post. So shouldn't have too many troubles whatsoever with it. And I did not expect Pumas to be winning 10 minutes in. So here's Big Rig Joe. Now Beauden gets the kick over, making the score now 3-all between these two sides, as Damien Smiley McKenzie on the bench. He is indeed, yes. So they have got Quintapire, Finlay Christie, and also Damien McKenzie as the back replacements. Watching the two games we played against Australia, we are going to be massacred by New Zealand and Argentina, says Arno. Although I do think that South Africa will be stronger in their game up against New Zealand, or their two matches, in fact, up against the Kiwis. I just feel like for now they're building just that little bit. And how you're feeling being up all night? I'm going Pumas 18, All Blacks 28. I'm not doing too bad. I'm relatively awake, which is a bit of a surprise. I missed that while I was at a pen, says Flesh. And so for offside, at the line out, rushing up a little bit too quick from the Argentines. Right, Thomas Albanoz is not taking kickoffs anymore. Where is Santiago Herreras? Is he out there on the field at the moment? Just looking around, trying to find whether Albanoz has been switched here. I'm looking very closely, but I'm not seeing any replacement as of just yet. I'm back across to the hands of Pedro Rubiolo. No advantage this time going against New Zealand. Pablo Matera, Juan Martin Gonzalez. Still the advantage. Garcia going off to the left-hand side, just staying in the field of play. Oh, through the middle of the breakdown was Cody Taylor. Juan Martin Gonzalez again. Oh, and a drop ball. So they will go back for another penalty. Still not hearing you call Simon Parker's name, says Glenn. So far, he has had that one missed tackle, and also he smashed Pablo Matera and kind of cut him in half. He kind of bent him in the middle. We have got there, you just look at Argentina. You see they should be very capable at applying early pressure expectedly. Beauden Barrett is the ultimate number 10 for the All Blacks. Please keep Damien McKenzie away from Barrett's rightful position. So here's Master. And Pumas play at frenzy pace. It's affecting the ABs. Need to calm themselves. But yeah, there it is. The change. Santiago Herreras onto the field. That is for Thomas Albanoz. That is such a huge hit here for Argentina. Now they have a new decision to make in terms of who will be taking the kicks first of all. But I believe it's going to be Juan Cruz Malia. Yes, it is. And when it's the first Bledisloe, cheers, says John Wilson. One moment, we'll go like that. There we go. So the first match of the Bledisloe taking place in 5 weeks' time. It's going to be an early kickoff for us here in New Zealand at 5:05 p.m. That kick has gone over from Malia, and that will make the score now 6-3. But losing their playmaker in the first 15 minutes of this contest here for Argentina. Kind of impact will that have on the way that they attack? I voted for Argentina in the poll, but I like a Kiwi win, says Kip. And good morning, all in Hamish. Says David the Moore, welcome in, hope you're doing well. On right-hand side now, in the deep kickoff, nicely taken by Garcia, and running it forward is Santiago Shoka Perez before he's hit by Cody Taylor. Physical in the breakdown, both of these sides already at this point in time. Fletcher Null, not too happy about getting stuck underneath that breakdown. Hope someone gets a try, and the world is just lucky. The All Blacks is a political team, says Sashi there. And we have got there, who do you support, says Jad. I am pretty impartial for this one, believe it or not. I know that I'm from New Zealand, but I just hope to see, like I said, if New Zealand win, it is good for them heading into their matches up against South Africa. But if Argentina win, we get the most competitive rugby championship that we've had in a long time. So it's a 50-50 type of one. I've had bowel movements more entertaining than this game, says Tony. Well, hopefully you haven't filmed them. We have got the vote ABs. I think they're going to win, says Bruce. Now, big run from Matera. We tackled low by Ethan de Groot. He's slow getting back up to his feet, DeGroot. I think he's actually struggling a little bit here. Looked rough before, but now Santiago Herreras, he's got the man on the outside. Tackled by Ratama at just the right time for Juan Martin Gonzalez. Going short side, Garcia trying to grab her in behind, but Will Jordan is there. Passes off to Bowden Barrett off his left boot. Does get it downfield, and a perfect kick from Bowden Barrett there. That is a very impressive one. He's struggling a little here. Sums up this game so far. Well, Will Jordan's, he's in the position of giving birth, if you know what that is, kind of with the knees up and the thighs spread. He's back up now, though, but Ratama's still down. He's still struggling from that knock that he took before, I believe. Cody Taylor first try, and this should be close, an epic one. And De Groot getting through tons of tackles. Yeah, he's getting slower and slower back to his feet, though, Ethan De Groot. And I think he did take quite a big knock and a breakdown about 3 or 4 minutes ago. Who's mentioning bowel motions? You could probably guess it is, of course, Tony. And stop kicking the ball away when we're in their half. Only for the personal collection. Says distracted, nicely taken at the line out time. Cody Taylor. Ball at the back. 17 minutes through this game. 6 points to 3 currently with the score. And we have got their Pumas have all the ball. Lucky to be only 3 behind. But now Will Jordan trying to step there. He's lined up by Santiago Shocker Perez. With a huge hit. Argentina certainly coming to play. Geordie Barrett pops it in behind to Billy Proctor now. Looking to break the line. Tackled by Juan Martin Gonzalez, but makes 20 metres beforehand. De Groot with a flat pass to Fletcher. No, 2-man tackled in by Vivas and Matera. Now, Ratama, pick and go. I think they're just checking to see whether or not there was a high shot on Fletcher. No, it did look relatively up there in terms of the collision. Now, Severis pops it off to Savia. There's an advantage now to New Zealand for player leaving feet. Severis with the pick and go moves up to 40 metres out. What was your prediction for this game? I went 31-38. So I'm probably a mile off here unless some teams start getting tries soon. We have to get which team is winning the battle. Says Robert. I would actually give forward advantage to Argentina at the moment for what they've been able to do. New Zealand have made a lot of their important tackles, but physicality-wise, we've seen a lot of Matera, Juan Martin Gonzalez, and Oviedo already. Going back for New Zealand's penalty now. And Billy, don't be a hero. Old school song from the 80s. And go, says Ruben. And also, my goodness, these RGs are tough. Says David the Mole. Yeah, they are not going down without a fight. Ratama's going to go off the field, though, here. I mentioned about that injury to either the sternum or the rib cage. He looked like he was holding a little bit higher, but he's gone. Finley Christie makes his way onto the park. New Zealand now 3 injured halfbacks if he is unable to continue for more of the Rugby Championship. We have got the Arden up, boys, says John. And I don't know, a lot of Christie minutes, says Mr. Tubadoo. Plenty of minutes for Christie to either book himself a spot for November or get completely taken out of the squad. ABs are tougher, says Moa Hunters. And 31-38 in favour of who? I went with the All Blacks. For that one. Now getting ready to throw this one in, Cody Taylor. Hard hits. Yeah, there's been some huge shots coming in already throughout the first quarter of this game. Tupavai short side goes off to Cody Taylor, tries the step, but a good tackle made by Santiago Carreras. Ethan De Groot, 10 metres from the line now for New Zealand. Severis plays half, goes off to Adi Savia, gets a couple extra. Finlay Christie to Geordie Barrett, pops it up to Bowden. Will Jordan passes out on the outside. Rico Ioane cuts back inwards, and he's just short of the line now. Finlay Christie pop up to Proctor, and he'll score the first try of the contest. Billy Proctor, next to the breakdown, does run it in. Now, that was hard work for New Zealand to break through. Argentina have defended valiantly. They've played well throughout the first 20 minutes, but you know that they'll be a little bit annoyed with the fact that they did not get themselves the first try in this contest. And we have got the Springboks are coming for the real test, says Ruben. Puma's very physical, crunching hit, says John, and try there. And Proctor try. And good work from Finlay Christie as well to get that ball into the hands of Proctor pretty much within the second. Severis looking good at halfback. And Christie did everything right through that move, says Jimbo. And yeah, straight away, Bowden with the clean out. Finlay Christie just waited for that last clean off Cody Taylor, then popped it back to Proctor and gets a much-needed try in that 13 kit. Now Bowden Barrett missing away to the right-hand side, so the score will remain at 6 points to 8. So Ratama Scott subbed off. He did indeed, yes, for some sort of sternum injury, which is a little bit of a concern against the run of play, says Tristan. And also, while people write them off, I love that Argentina has a much better World Cup record than superstar teams like Ireland, says Arno. And Christy the Man says, John, and we love Finley Christie, says Mr. Tuba Dude. And also good impact from Fanta Pants. That's a new name. Oh, I don't think I've heard before. Oh, we have they're still waiting for the moment Fabian Holland scores his try, says Master. To be fair, with the way that he moves around the field, it might not be long, although he hasn't quite got to that one. And Argentina now have managed to retain their kickoff. Rubiolo, tackled by De Groot, as well as Scott Barrett. Now Juan Cruz Malia, inside ball. Breaking through was Lucio Cinti, getting past Simon Parker. Another missed tackle for him, but he makes that one. Now off to the right-hand side, drop ball from Joaquin Oviedo. Billy Proctor will sink the slipper into it. No one back for Argentina, and a very big boot. Go only 5 metres out. He's chased after it himself, Billy Proctor, putting in the hard yards here, and that one doesn't find touch. Bowden Barrett fires it across to Will Jordan. Argentina, their defence is absolutely everywhere out there on the field at the moment, and there's an advantage through the side of the ruck from Franco Molina. Bowden Barrett pops it up to his brother Scott. Good pressure, says the AI. I told you early days, says Val. Nice try, AB's next penalty. Kick to the corner, line out Maul, and Cody Taylor try for his 100th. Says John Tipper, but they will now go back for that penalty. So this is potentially exactly what you wanted to see, because this one will be close enough to the sideline that they could consider going for that 3-point option or going for the corner. We have got there, did you see that? That's playing right there in 3 minutes goes, says Blues Nate. And also good try, Billy. Says Lawrence there as well, but Bowden Barrett kicking it into the corner. That'll be about 10 to 12 metres out from the try line. And Spring Windmills had a very lucky win for sure against Good Wallabies team. Spring Windmills. I don't think I've ever heard someone call the Springboks Spring Windmills, and I don't understand it. Multiple, says Tony. Go for the corner, and that is what they have decided to do. Nicely taken by Fabian Holland. Savia breaking off the back. 5 metres from the line. Matera trying to take him down. Christie now popping it on the inside to Sevu Reese. Oh, ball pops out. Christie was too busy organising his back line, and he wasn't aware that the ball had popped out and it smacked him in the face. Speaking of smacked, Will Jordan's at that ball stripped, and Argentina with the counter-attack, but they'll go back for something again. Look at that, up the Waimedi. And there as well, Nick Berry is getting booed by the crowd, but they will go right back for the initial knock-on. We have got there, anyone try to use NZR Plus, and it's not live, says Nathan. I think it depends on what country you're in. I think you need to be in a certain one that doesn't have any broadcasters. They normally are live for these games, aren't they, for certain regions? And Billy coming of age today, says Glenn. What happened to the Maul? The Maul disappeared very quickly, to be fair. Pretty much Savia, they popped it off to him, and then they just broke away. We have got there, Damn Christie, says Godzone. And good to WA. And another one for the All Blacks, says Uncle. Now 5 metres out from the line. It will be New Zealand's scrum feed here. They've got the big man Simon Parker on the blind side, or open side for this one. Artie Savia is actually going to be off the back. Right. I have a little bit of a question. If you're going to play Artie Savia as an 8 in the scrums, what's the point of playing him in that number 7 jersey? You know, you might as well have not swapped him. I thought the point of Simon Parker would have been to give him that chance off the back of the scrum there. But instead, Finlay Christie going across there to Sevu Reese. Now Proctor, 3 metres out from the try line. Finlay Christie goes to Bowden Barrett. And we have got there 2 points up after a quarter. Some brains missing. Says Eric, now passing off to the left-hand side to Simon Parker. Savia, pick and go off to Fletcher. No, what a run that is from the big man. I think he's going to score it. He was close to the sideline, but just manages to stay in the field of play. And the big man, Fletcher Null, getting himself the try this time. I don't think he was in too many try-scoring predictions for this matchup. They might as well just wear 7 and 8 or 7/8 on their jersey and close to midnight. And let's go with Statistical playing now. He is going to be making his way off the bench. We look at their try, says God Zone. And there as well, but Savia going straight into the hands of Fletcher Null. And then Pablo Matera trying to drive him over the sideline. It was quickly recycled. Savia has been in a lot of places already. Nah, he's completely fine. There, Fletcher Null, try fest. Says Memento there. We have got there people talking about the last game, don't understand rugby. Says Anthony, which game are we talking? Which game? Like the Springboks Australia game? Or the New Zealand Argentina game? And All Blacks for Life, says Vava. And here we go, Farnels. Says Blues Nate. And score now, says Mohadin. Fletcher Null. Billy Proctor, if you've got a 3 on your back at the moment in some form, got a good chance of scoring. So Damien McKenzie off the bench. You'll be looking forward to the chance. I'm cool. For the fat man with the fuel, got a real hard on for Fletcher. I should have read that first. But it was a good run from Fletcher Null. I'll give you that. Did you see James O'Connor's kicks? I did. We called them live and they were not normal for James O'Connor. Definitely normally with how cool, calm and collected he is under pressure. And all very strong, says God Zone. Pollard's kicks those easy. Says RJJ, but now the ball is available for New Zealand. Finlay Christie rolling this one back. Being told to use it by Nick Berry. Go the All Blacks, says Shayna. And O'Connor needs to work on his goal kicking. Normally he's pretty good though. Like he, just like most kickers in the world, can have an off day. And unfortunately for him, his off day came in that second test up against South Africa. Just showing Mateo Carreras here. He did take that ball over the touchline. There's going to now be the line out for Argentina. About 42 metres out. How far behind are you? Sitting at 27 minutes and 49 seconds at the moment. Nicely taken by Pedro Rubiola. Garcia going off to the right-hand side. Skip pass finds no one. Rico Ioane knocking it on. And now straight away, the All Blacks susceptible to the counter-attack. The Pumas doing well to regather. Oh, no. Okay, there was originally that knock-on from Rico that they have gone back for now. The All Blacks just scored. They did score in the 25th minute with Fletcher Null. Was a try scorer. And what's your take on the Australia versus South Africa game? Better from South Africa. Still, like Russie as well. He said it's about a 7 out of 10. I think that they got their selection a little bit better for this game, though. Having Dialendi back, Cheslin back, and Andre all in there, I think was massive for them. 6-13 on other channels. I believe it is 6-13 here too. Handling is sitting 5-4 at the moment. New Zealand have got themselves the 5 of those. And we have got their good handling from both sides. It's the AI underdog. And we have got there to the All Blacks just scored. They did indeed. Fletcher Null, the man who did cross the line. I didn't understand whatever that was. That was obviously Spanish. We have got there Vamos Pumas. Says travel there. Poor set, says Nick Berry. And we have got there, just had another ad. Says Glenn. See, I don't really know how it works, to be honest. There was also, do they still do the XP thing in the chat? How you can get XP for messaging? Is that still a thing? And Argentina looking better in set piece today. I think Argentina all round are looking a little bit better today. They've had a couple moments where maybe they've just been a little bit susceptible to giving New Zealand easy meters. But outside of that, I'd still say they've been pretty strong throughout this matchup. The Pumas have most of the ball, but didn't capitalise, says God Zone. Let's go, boys, says Master. And Vamos Los All Blacks, says Ben there, and coming the ABs. Now, Garcia. Off to the left-hand side, Santiago Carreras tries the cross kick there. Sever Reese a long way off his wing. Mateo Carreras tries to chip him on. Reese has to shuffle back, knocks the ball into touch. I believe Argentina actually kept that ball alive somehow. So that will be 5 metres out from the try line now. Skip pass, bounces up into the hands of Franco Molino, who fends off Ethan de Groot. Now, they can go from Julian Montoya. Little bit of a floaty pass to Pablo Matera. They are, I believe, still under knock-on advantage. In fact, I can hear a TMO talking. There might be something else that's being checked here. 2 misconversions. Says John there. Now knock-on by Rico, says Ricky. Across to the left, Pablo Matera in behind. Santiago Herreras with the short ball. Finds Batista Del Gui. Good defence at the moment from New Zealand. And the steal and the breakdown coming from Will Jordan. Doing a forwards job at the moment, Will Jordan, with the amount of breakdowns that he has been joining. But Finlay Christie will fire it back into the pocket for Bowden Barrett. It's under pressure. Does get the ball into touch. Who's dominating scrums? We've actually hardly had any scrums throughout this one, believe it or not. And I wouldn't say either side have really had a huge advantage in that department. AB's too good at the breakdown, says Master. And also impressive show from Argentina thus far. And hi, says Chris. And we have also got there watching from Basildon. And there as well. We have got there Australia play Argentina next week. We did give birth earlier, Will Jordan. You can hear the Timo talking to Berry. But he said, they're checking it now though. Okay, after he's made this kick, there's something that's happened. So they're going to be checking this one. Checking Will Jordan out here. Right. This will be an intriguing one. See what exactly the call will end up being. And Zach the TMO says Glenn. Which side of the pitch mostly played in? It's been pretty 50-50. Okay, they're checking to see whether or not Will Jordan and Mateo Carreras, they're going to try and say here that Will Jordan changed his line. He did a little bit. He cut across to the side. Mateo Carreras, to be fair, he didn't really dive or anything. He just more so just got half by stumbled. And nice bread, says Dave there. Right, this is a big call because this could end up being a yellow card for Will Jordan, in which case they might even consider a penalty try as an option. Onion and Haley every time without failure. I get a big, I've worked out those now. You got it rhyming though, Tony. We'll have to give you that. And Jordan blocked 11, says Fleshin. Okay, it's going to be a penalty and a yellow card for Will Jordan here. So he will be off for the rest of this half match over this week. Argentina no match for the ABs. I would just wait to see what the score is at halftime first before getting too confident. And this one, Argentina only down by the 7, and they have now got a man advantage for the next 10 minutes. Just checking to see how far out from the goal line it is, because of course it is based off where that chip of the kick landed. They always check the ABs looking for a penalty try card. Says Godzone. Right, 10 metres from where the ball landed. This is only going to be about 10 metres out from the try line now. It looks like they are going to go for the scrum, fins up. And there, and ABs are losing players. And also, can the on-field referee just make a final decision, like in football? Sick of the TMO, like the one happened in the World Cup final, says Master. And also, 13 all at halftime would be ominous. And AB's still going to run right, says Jeff J. But they have decided to go for the scrum here. Of course, New Zealand will have one less man in terms of that back line to be able to defend it. Can this F Chief, says Dover. And also New Zealand is going to be a high score. And Sevu Reece not covering his man caused all of this. Says Hartley, he was a long way off the wing, Sevu Reece, when they did go for the cross kick there, the Argentines. But 8 minutes remaining in this half. Now big scrum from the All Blacks, but not able to get the ball. Rushing forward was Santiago Shoka Perez right on the ball. Savia, but doesn't quite get it. Rush defense from Tupavai out wide. Is that a deliberate knockdown? There's an advantage to Argentina. This could be another yellow if New Zealand aren't careful, depending on how they rule this, whether it's a knock-on or it's deliberate. Juan Martin Gonzalez, though, pick and go just short of the try line here for Argentina. He's over the line. And the Pumas strike back within a minute of the yellow card being awarded. Oh, okay. Nick Berry's considering still looking at that one. Oh, it's actually Carreras who pops up with it. Does get himself the try. One of the smaller players out there, but he's right place, right time for that one. And this is whether or not Tupavai will also get a yellow card for this. Or whether they just rule it as a normal knock-on. We have got there, come on ref, damn it. Says Sana there. And we have got the Argentina from Lilia B with the flag. And also we have there, Marius is a known AB hater. It should not be a TMO, says Hartley. They're now lining up the kick here for Argentina. It's gone over, and just like that, 13-13 in this game now. And slam dunk, says Blues Nate. And All Blacks, what are you doing, says JW. And try, says the Blues Nate. And there as well. But yeah, I don't think Mateo Carrera scored that. I think it could have actually been Delgado by the looks of that angle, but I think they've given it to Mateo Carreras. Oh, why is the Timo always late? Says JW. And also we have got there, they removed the fastest man on the pitch, says Uncle. And great commentary, thanks, says Anton there. We see Tupavai, he's been taken off the field as well for that yellow card. All Blacks playing with 13 in a 13-13 game. But that was for the one that they ruled as deliberately a knock-on. And now Mateo Carreras has got this ball available. New Zealand once again doubling down on the amount of tries or the amount of yellow cards that they did get last week. Wide cut-out pass from Argentina. Are starting to find some space. Batista Delgui trying to show off his stepping, but a big shot from Scott Barrett to stop that attack. Argentina, they seem like they're feeling a little bit more here. Santiago Herreras goes on the outside to Juan Cruz Malia. Tackled low by Geordie Barrett. Two in this in-bin, says JW. Now put on the outside. Teo Carreras showing his pace. Now Ethan, the group managers to stop him. That was an ugly clean out on Geordie Barrett. Gets an apology from Montoya. I don't think Barrett's too happy about it. Cody Taylor ripping the ball off Argentina. Here comes Simon Parker in space. Has got the man on the inside. Waits a little bit longer. Decides against the offload. Now Finlay Christie. Off to the left. Bowden Barrett to the group. Good hands. Proctor goes to Scott Barrett. Looking for that next offload. Finds Taylor, who knocks it on. Now Argentina again with Delgui, who's tripped by his teammate. 36 minutes through. Aren't two yellows a red? They are if they're separate players. Or sorry, if they're the same player, not separate. The Kiwi Lad's clearly impressing YouTube. Seeing ads are popping up in your live stream. Smashing work, Hamish, as always. Says Warren. See, I don't even know how the ads on live streams actually work. Like, I feel like the amount of time that we spend doing streams, I should know how it works, but I honestly just click live on my streaming software, which isn't even like through YouTube. It kind of feeds it to YouTube. So I don't really know what else happens. And geez, how do you keep up, H? Says Glenn Woods. Looks like an injury here, though, for Mateo Carreras. It happened a little bit earlier on. Watch the consistency, says AI. And also, let's go to the ABs. And Vamos Argentina says travel there too. New Zealand actually attacking with 12 or 2 less players and almost looking promising. That was interesting, says LJ. Looks like Ethan de Groot is also down with just a little bit of an injury. And impressed with your accent game, says Wolfie. And AB's nearly scored with 13. Yeah, currently Tupavai will be off the field for another 8.5 minutes. Will Jordan will be off the field for another 5. I've only got 3.5 minutes remaining of this first half. How can a player a second yellow card when he is already in the bin? So Will Jordan got the first, Tupavai got the second. And aren't ads good for the channel? I believe so. I assume that would help pay for the Sky Sport subscription and the streaming software. Yeah, Cody Taylor getting that ball dislodged initially, and that's where Argentina once again tried to get that counter-attack going. And Go says, Nyamanu, worst ever rugby I've seen from the All Blacks since 2 years ago. And Argentina seem a lot more hungry than the ABs. They look determined at the moment, Argentina. And let's go All Blacks from Zimbabwe. I was joking, says Giants. To be fair, I thought you were talking about like once he came back from the bin, so that was my bad. We have got there, if you have YouTube Premium for a few bucks, you have no ads. This tournament is more open this year. It's kind of like taking them by surprise, running at them. When we got 13 on the field, who has the ball at the moment, it is going to be an Argentinian scrum sitting 40 metres out from their own line here. Simon Parker, he is backing down on the side of the scrum, just like Artie Savia is, due to no Tupavai in this case. So let's see if Argentina can get that big push. Looks like New Zealand actually forcing the Argentines backwards there. That was all but an All Blacks penalty, but it is going to be play on, sees Nick Berry now breaking the line. Santiago Carreras going on the outside to Juan Cruz Malia, inside ball to Mateo Carreras, who has recovered from his injury. Beauden Barrett, though, holding him up, not letting him go down, but eventually does end up dropping to the turf. Big run from Franco Molina, Gonzalo, or in fact that time it was Garcia, Geordie Barrett in the breakdown. The All Blacks going to have to work extremely hard, man up in terms of on one-on-one defence. Now offload on the outside. Delgi going down the wing. Tackled by Scott Barrett. 5 metres short of the try line. Skip past there. Oviedo 1 metre out. This is Argentina's chance again. Close to the line for Julian Montoya, but he will be just short. Juan Martin Gonzalez. He's got the chance. He's trying to go over the top of the All Blacks. He'll be held up. That was the wrong call from the big Argentine 7. And another knock on. They must hold the world record for knock on, says Ricky. And how's the weather like in New Zealand, Amish? At the moment, it's 6 degrees Celsius, so it's not too bad. At the moment, blew it there, says JW. Yeah, that was one of those times that they needed to, rather than go over the top, probably just the quick hands to the side. And it could have been another try there. But that's the type of opportunity that Argentina can't afford to let slip. Definitely not up against a 13-man opposition. There's always going to be a gap in the defence. And Greedy Lucy says David there in brilliant defence by 13 players. And he won't thank his teammate. Yeah, it's just the wrong choice. Go over the top from Juan Martin Gonzalez. And great defence with 13, says John. And good attack, says the AI. Yeah, Argentina, we're looking dangerous. That attacking play. Now 1 minute remaining in the first half. Santiago Carreras across to Pablo Matero. Sits down Fletcher Null. Seems to be Matera's goal at the moment, to just see how many players he can run over the top of throughout a game of rugby. Juan Cruz Malia, quick stepping but tackled by Simon Parker to the left-hand side. Garcia. Now to Matera again. Severis making the tackle, but this is going to wear out the All Blacks if they have to keep on tackling at this rate up against 15 Argentinians trying to milk the penalty. Garcia, ref looked at him and does not give him the penalty. Missed tackle from Ioane. Massive gap on the outside for Delgi. Gets round Christie, who misses one. Barrett misses as well, but Beauden saves the day and manages to force the last minute knock on as Delgi was just about running through for its try. But missed tackle from Rico Ioane. He rushed up, left a massive gap on the outside. Missed tackle from Geordie as well as Finley Christie, but Beauden got that last-ditch effort. And just beautiful stepping coming there, and then Beauden got in there to cut it off. Rico is a liability, says Richard there. Nice tie, says Barry. Thank you very much. We don't want your sport, bro, says Glenn. I assume someone was going for the All Blacks there. I guess you guys didn't well, says Bradley. And 2 men down, take advantage, please, says Travel. Now, they will have themselves the line-out throw. Us South African want a whitewash in the Australia vs South Africa series. We seem to do it to Australia all the time, says Arno. Because what happened in the T20 series? I know that Australia won it, but that wasn't a whitewash, was it? I think South Africa at least won one of those T20s. That's going to be forced into touch. Another bad decision from Argentina, just going a little bit too wide. And that is now going to make the score at halftime 13 points to 13. New Zealand will still have 13 out there for the second half. But a hectic 40 minutes in Buenos Aires for this contest. All Blacks captain is too quiet. I actually think Barrett's been quite good in this game, Scott Barrett, that is. I think he's put in a couple crucial tackles that have saved breakaway chances for Argentina. And maybe he hasn't been having some huge runs on attack. But honestly, defensively, I think that Scott Barrett's actually been one of the stronger players out there on the field for New Zealand. And maybe I'm looking at the wrong stuff. But I have a quick look and see the stats for this first half. See whether or not they are in agreement. Tackles completed. We've seen Simon Parker make 15 throughout that first half. Ethan the Group made 11. Scott Barrett also made 11. Fabian Holland had 11 too. So New Zealand making a drastic amount. And hold. You shall not pass 2 yellows. That's why it's so hard. Says Chad. Don't be angry with the guy sent off. The whole team's been rubbish. Says Hartley. And yikes, shaky first half. Says Ben there. Yeah, it's been far from New Zealand's best, but Argentina, they will, I think, be a little bit disappointed here with the fact that they've had so many chances, but they haven't been able to turn it into more points. So far, missed tackles. We've seen 4 missed tackles from Geordie Barrett at this stage of the match. Tupavai's missed 3. Simon Parker's missed 3. Sold out. I believe they have got about 50,000 in attendance for this match. No fight at the 34th minute. Amish won this time. And come on, guys, don't give up. And how did the Argies not score there? Going to cost them for sure. Golden opportunity. And the end of the half was an unpleasant experience. Lucky to hold on there, says Distract Sports. Yeah, it seemed like it was right on the verge of Argentina being able to bust through and have a big moment where they were able to score, take the lead, but New Zealand hang on. And their scramble defence was relatively solid. And New Zealand lose, what ranking are they? They will still be number 1. But if New Zealand lost by 16, they would drop to number 2, and South Africa would go back to number 1 in the world rankings. Absolute cinema in just one half. Says Uncle there. Can we really call it a proper test match when we're down to 13? Seriously? I mean, New Zealand did it to themselves, though, so you can't blame Argentina for New Zealand's ill discipline. Like, it's still the match, you know? And theoretically, if New Zealand didn't want to play with 13 men, they shouldn't have got 2 yellow cards. Which team? Says Sung there. Which team, what? Which team's going to win? I assume that might be Finley and Rico. Missed tackle, says Daniel. Which team won the first half? Well, it's 13-13. And you'd say that Argentina probably had the more dangerous moments, but New Zealand didn't let those moments turn into massive points. I bring on the reign of the AB, says Michael. And but I reckon Nick Berry is loving the sound of his whistle at the moment, says Ben. And Bowden Barrett, man of the match, says Bava there. And also we have there, what a player, Bowden Barrett as well, says Cameron, about 5 times. And also Fletcher Null, he was doing very well throughout that first half. Leroy Carter all day, says Sean. How's the score so small? Says Briston. Not blaming, put them on report like NRL, says Glenn Woods. Yeah, although you're allowed to deliberately knock the ball down in the NRL, aren't you? Whereas that's what Tupavai got his yellow card for. And then for the Will Jordan one, it was for running the block. We have got there, and another ad, says Len. And also rugby has become more unpredictable, says Anthony. Definitely this rugby championship. I do feel like Argentina, if they play well in this next 40 minutes, we could have a rugby championship that has 1 win for every single side. Deliberate knock-on is permitted. And rugby league, Rico needs to go. He's awful, says Proctor. He's actually been really poor in this game, Rico. And I don't want to criticise him too much because, you know, he's still got a second half ahead of him. But his tackle that he missed left a massive gap. He also ended up a couple of the times just rushing up in the wrong places. And just, you know, it's a bit of a tricky one for New Zealand at the moment. Nick Berry really hates the All Blacks. Says Neil there. Missing Roygaard. Ridiculous that our discipline is still terrible. I was hoping it would change under Robertson. Cost us a World Cup. Says Aston. And also RGs couldn't score with 19 players versus AB's 13. The TMO rest and touch judges are out of shape. Need to lay off the beer and barbecue. And only they can, they lift the Pumas. Says Ricardo. This was a really good watch for a neutral, says Flesh. And yeah, it's been back and forth throughout this contest. We've seen New Zealand get 4 turnovers in the breakdown. They have been at crucial times. 1 turnover for Argentina, who have had almost double the carries. In fact, over double the carries that New Zealand have had. Argentina have had 5 line breaks to the 1, but New Zealand still have that extra try ahead. And that is something that was pretty much the summary of the first game. New Zealand weren't the best statistically, but they were on the scoreboard. It's super cool that both games have been close. Yeah, it just shows the competitiveness of this rugby championship. 63% possession for the Pumas throughout that first half. 58% territory. We have got there, are we cheaters? The amount of cards we get suggests so. Says Rodney. And also we have got the RGs are super okay. Rico is okay. Stop sweating. We've got it in the bag. Says Michael. And also that halftime gave AB's Kit Kat breaks. Few almost gassed out. Yeah, they were having to play at a really fast pace throughout the end of their half. So far we've seen 5 scrums, both sides winning 100%. Lineouts, we've had 9, 100% for both teams. So it could be that crucial lineout steal that we see from one of these two sides. That could completely change this one. Awesome to see the world watching this beautiful sport. Go the mighty All Blacks, says Innocent. I will mention anyone who is new. I haven't even said it at all throughout this live stream. But if you are new, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to have videos coming out throughout the next couple of weeks about the prediction of what the All Blacks will select up against South Africa when the lineups are announced. We will also have those videos going up on the channel. Alongside that, we got the Rugby Championship, every single match we are doing on the channel too. We are currently only 42 subscribers away from 69,500 as well. So if you want to help us get there, it is greatly appreciated. We have got Vamas ABs, says Vava, and also we have got the All Blacks must contract assistant attack seriously, says Riss. And also we have got their ABs did well with only 13 men. Yeah, they actually defended like their game depended on it. And in a way it kind of did, because Argentina were throwing absolutely everything at them. And we see there the penalty count is 5 and 5. Tackles made. New Zealand had to make 105 tackles throughout that first half. They missed 26, so only tackling at 80%. Argentina have only missed the 5 tackles. They are tackling at 90 for this matchup. Thanks, bro. Just subscribe to you before I commented. Great channel. Says Innocent Anglerfish. Do appreciate that a lot. And Aussies is better than the All Blacks on moment. Says Johannes. I haven't seen Rico outpace anyone lately. Says Chuck T. And Milford Sound is the wettest region in New Zealand. Says Sheldon. And thanks so much. Off to another site for now. We'll pop a like. Says Anthony. And there's one good work, buddy. Keep it up. And hopefully New Zealand or the All Blacks will win. Although there is a Puma. And they are very hard to beat, says Chopper Boy. And yeah, Argentina deserve a lot of credit for what they were able to do throughout that first half. They played the more physical game of rugby. I feel up front, the forwards were impressive for the Argentines. And they just need a little bit more of that. We have got their Razor out, says Driss. He's currently undefeated this year. So who are you going to instead? Are you looking for a coach like, yes, they could lose this game, but are you looking for a coach who is going to win all of the games but select a different lineup, I guess? Because, like, you know, he's doing not too badly in terms of the win-loss record at the moment. 105 tackles in one half is crazy. It's a huge number. And the All Blacks, the fact that they missed about 28 of those tackles, we've seen 671 metres made by Argentina compared to the 241 of New Zealand. These are the type of numbers that we are not used to seeing against New Zealand. Rugby Championship has been close for a while now, even if it doesn't always seem like it, says Arno. And I think the perfect example was last year when we did see the Argentinians get themselves a win over every single side. We've got there, the Rugby Championship has been, oh no, I read that one, I don't know. New Zealand will climb through the second half. Come on, Will Jordan, says Dina there. Or it might actually be Deanna, sorry. We have got there, all this started because, as usual, Reese did not stay on his wing when he was needed, says Hartley. And also, Argie's going to turn it up, and Razor will be talking about thin margins in Test footy after this game. And second yellow card directly related to Argentina player complaining. And we have got there Yolayat for South Africa is very good at complaining to the ref to get a penalty. And also Ab for skiing this time. Says Glenn Woods. We are getting, well, I guess we're almost at the end of ski season here in New Zealand, aren't we? Pumas will turn championship on its head with an upset here, says Roger. And if they were able to do so, we will see. One moment. This is the way that the table sits currently. So a win for Argentina of any sort of margin would put them on 4 points, which would mean that every single team has 1 win, 1 loss at this stage of the Rugby Championship. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to happen, but I'm also not saying that it's not going to happen. But New Zealand will have to make sure that that next kind of 5 or so minutes where they are down to 13, they have to not concede. Because if they end up having another try against them here from Argentina, that puts them in a very troublesome position heading into the later stages of the match where, you know, to be honest, last week Argentina looked pretty decent as the match wore on. These are the bench options. Finlay Christie already out there on the field due to the injury of Cortez Ratima. What kind of implications does that bring? Is he going to be out for those Springbok matches? If so, is Christie your first choice halfback heading into the rest of the Rugby Championship? Or is it going to be a debutant in Kyle Preston, who hasn't even had a single minute for the All Blacks at this point? Hopefully, it's just a knock for Ratima, or else there could be some real danger coming for the Kiwis in terms of selections. But yeah, some pretty decent players off the bench for these two sides. I'm not sure what I would change here for New Zealand across the forward pack, to be honest. Like, I think that Parker, he's been tackling a lot, so that's ideal. We haven't seen a huge amount of turnovers as of yet from New Zealand. Of course, Tupavai getting himself yellow carded is not ideal, but that opens up the door for maybe Satiti. has the option to be able to go on there eventually. We could see some sort of reshuffle. Maybe they take Simon Parker off and risk Tupavai for the full time. Maybe they move Scott Barrett to 6 and have Josh Lord go in as one of the two in the locks. Many decisions to be made, but soon we will know exactly what they will be doing. We have got there, could even be a draw. That is true. A draw would also throw a bit of a curveball in the mix for this Rugby Championship. We have got there, you can flip a coin as to who wins this match, says NZ Right. And also, I remember at the Rugby World Cup 2015, Argentina were in the same position against New Zealand, had a 2-man advantage before half-time, couldn't capitalise on it, says JW. And I'm a Kiwi, and I have no idea who Simon Parker is, says Zach there. So he is a player for the Chiefs, as well as for the Northland Taniwha in the Bunnings NPC. He had a pretty good season overall for the Chiefs, and he got injured right at the end. Some people have talked about the fact that he was the guy that they would have liked to select rather than Leo Willie. But because of Simon Parker's injury, they didn't go that direction. Will the ABs ever have a game without a yellow card again? We will lose at Eden Park if they keep playing like this. Well, that's now 2 games in a row that they've had at least 1 yellow card. They've actually had 2 for both games of the Rugby Championship, and there's still another 40 minutes remaining. So, you know, it could still happen. We have got there coming the ABs. And also, if New Zealand don't concede with 13, that's a huge moral win for them. And we'll win them this game, says Tristan. And we have got the ABs drop form as soon as Christie came on. Did they? I thought the ABs scored a try about maybe less than a minute after Finley Christie came on. He actually did everything right for the try of Billy Proctor in terms of the timing and the right passing option. So, you know, I don't think we can hold it all against Finley Christie for the fact that Will Jordan got a yellow card and so did Tupavai, and New Zealand conceded a try. We've got there, if the All Blacks continue playing like this, and then we will see Dustin at Eden Park in Wellington, see the Blacks arm on. And also, when you're playing with 13, do you turn over the ball after 6 tackles? Sadly, not in this case. I do have to try and find a way of getting that steal. We have got there, why is he put in Rico on? Says the channel, and ABs are frustrated as soon or too soon in their matches. Why was Artie on the back of the scrum? That was my question as well. Obviously, they've decided that Artie Savi is that breaking away option, but why not just start Simon Parker as the 7 in that case? And then have Artie Savia as the 8? Because I would have thought that if Parker was selected as the 8, that was going to be because of that dangerous back of the scrum way that he's able to break away, but they aren't giving him that chance here. And Parker's number 8. I need to let him play his game. So would that mean letting him play off the back of a scrum? Because I would think it would. ABs to win by 3 tries, says Jimbo. Well, currently they are up by 1 try at this point in time, sitting 13-13, but 2 tries for New Zealand compared to the 1 of the Argentines. Go get you a mince and cheese pie for Brecky after the game, says Renee. Could be probably not an option. It's currently 10:30 almost here in New Zealand, so there will be somewhere open, but I don't know if a pie after an all-night is the way to go. We have got there Parker is 6, and 8 is Artie, or 8 Artie is 7 or 8. So Artie Savia is 7, Simon Parker is number 8, and then Tupavai number 6. And ABs need a hard-fought win. Wallabies need the Lion Series. I need this for South Africa. Says Laurie, but now both sides making their way back out of the tunnel, ready to go for the second half of rugby. Anyone who hasn't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are going to be back with plenty more of the Rugby Championship, a competition that is still heating up with the way that this match is going at this point in time, sorry to say. But we will win no matter what or who we face, says Siraj. And also DM will make a huge change in terms of Damian McKenzie. Who would you bring him on for in this case? Would you take Ioane off and put McKenzie out on the wing like they did last week? Or would you go for a different switch in that regard? Because I guess the trickiest part is finding a place for McKenzie. Maybe they put Will Jordan out on the wing, have McKenzie go to fullback. Araza got them doing breakdances in the sheds. And hi, says Jacob, welcome in. Hope you're doing extremely well. And Christie has one major fault in his game. I'll just say he's got orange hair, is what Ricardo has said there. We have good there. Can't wait for us to meet the Wallabies. I'm excited when Wallace comes on, says the channel, in 13-13 proper. Says Anthony, and currently still 13 on the field for New Zealand. Yes, totally 8. It's first choice for Parker, says Nev. Let's open up now. The Argentinian team going to come hard, says Mohammed. New Zealand, they will be kicking this one off from left to right. No, Bowden Barrett off. Oh, see, that's a risk because Beauden Barrett's actually done some very good things throughout this game. In fact, I would call Beauden Barrett the best back that we've seen so far in this contest. So it would be a risk taking him off. He's made some crucial tackles throughout the early stages of the game. Now getting ready to kick this one off for New Zealand. Second half back underway. Sevu Reece chasing after this one. The All Blacks kicking deep because they do want Argentina trapped inside of their own 22. Garcia back across to the right-hand side. Looks like Argentina willing to run this one out from the back or at least create an angle to then go for the kick. ABs just need some position. Exactly right. I think it was about, 38% position for New Zealand in that first half. It's gone high. We've got to remember, Albano's also off the field, they've just mentioned, and, not having him out there has certainly made a difference with the way that Argentina have played, but Santiago Herreras has not looked too bad at all. Finlay Christie goes across to the group. New Zealand have to keep their structure here. They've got 2 less men out there, so they can't afford to accidentally leave themselves susceptible to the counter-attack. Geordie Barrett goes in behind to Billy Proctor, almost skims his defender on the outside, but Garcia got the ankle tap. Pablo Matera over the ball, wins the penalty for Argentina. We have got there Damien McKenzie and Beauden Barrett know how to win. Put them on, put one of them in fullback. Looks like Will Jordan just about to make his way back out onto the field. How long until we're back to full strength? So Jordan's making his way on now, I believe. Yes, he is. And Tupavai will still be off for another about 3 minutes or so, I believe. And clearly penalty, says JW there. And also, Christie and Rico, mistakes from them. Understand Christie, but Rico so many times, bruh, says Laurie. And I don't agree with the knockdown rule being a yellow card and a penalty. It should be one or the other. The team with the ball chooses. You made your bet, ABs. Own it and play rugby, says John. Now, Julio Montoya ready to throw this one in. It will be about 35 metres out from the All Blacks line. Now, thrown in, nicely taken by the Pumas. Wrestled down in the rolling maul. It's not really moving too far. But now breaking away. So there's a few players kind of tangled like a pretzel there. Now, it's Choco Barres. Tackle by Adi Savia. Garcia going back across to Carreras. Tackle again by Geordie Barrett. Counter-ruck from New Zealand. They're trying to get the steal, and they have done it cleanly. Fabian Holland off to Tamaiti Williams. He's on the field for Ethan de Groot, who I still felt didn't look 100% throughout that first half. So maybe they did decide that it was worth taking him off. Kick downfield. Taken at the back from Argentina. Now kicked high for Batista Delgui going up for it. He's taken it beautifully. Finlay Christie, though, back over the ball. Tried to get the steal. Garcia wide cut out past to Santiago Shoka Perez. Low tackle from Parker. Geordie Barrett on the ball. Sevu Reece has a crack as well, and they will win the penalty there, New Zealand. Love the commentary, bro, says Stacey. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated you being here. Tell us what's going on. Don't worry about comments, says Philip. But then how would I have known that you put that comment, Philip, if I didn't read the comments? Love the commentary. And we have got there, good counter-ruck, says Master there, but the penalty does go the way of the New Zealanders. Beauden Barrett now going to kick this one towards the sideline. Let's get it into touch. Tupavai now making his way back out on. So New Zealand back to the full contingency of 15 on 15, but Delgui's had quite the performance from that number 14 jersey as well. And Morning Hamish slept in, just watched first 20 minutes, caught up now. Says Duds Race, it was an eventful first half. Low scoring for a start, but built into the game quite nicely. Both of these sides, and it is still anyone's for the taking. The second 40 minutes now rolling more for New Zealanders, going sideways. Nick Berry says to use it once to Finlay Christie. Cody Taylor breaking off the back, the Centurion for the ABs. Now Christie across to Geordie Barrett, flat run forward. Matera again looking for the steal, and he's got it. Done enough in the breakdown. Oh, penalty to Finlay Christie, though, over the ball, not releasing. And that is a crucial 1-1 by the replacement halfback. However, is it possible to see the game? Depending on where you are in the world, will depend on your options. You've got Supersport in South Africa. You've got Sky Sport in New Zealand, Stan Sport in Australia. And there are a few other places to be able to watch it, but also do check out the Rugby Championship website, as that will tell you your best options depending on where you are in the world. New Zealand opting to take the 3 points here, rather than going for the corner. They are currently up by 1 try in terms of that bonus point potential. What will a bonus point for Argentina do to the table? So if Argentina, is that a bonus point win or just a bonus point loss? Because this is the way that the table sits live, or at least before this game. Beauden Barrett's missed away to the left-hand side. That is another unsuccessful kick. So they're now 13-13 between these two sides. Barrett having a little bit of an off day when it comes to the kicking tee. It's probably the decent option. Justin Marshall's just saying there that they were using the 3 to milk the clock so that Tupavai could make his way back out onto the field. But Tupavai came back out about 2 minutes ago. And now penalty goes the way of Argentina. The 22 dropout was actually charged down there from New Zealand. We have got the Cooper Flanders for Taranaki, deserves a crack at the number 8 black jersey, says Zach. He's looking like a real good talent. Like Devon Flanders is a good enough player by himself, but seems like his younger brother's got that little bit higher of a ceiling at the moment. I've never actually seen that before, says JW. Yeah, the charge down of the 22 dropout, something that does not happen pretty much ever. It sounds like a couple subs are about to be made. Marcos Crema making his way onto the field. Surely that's not for Pablo Matera. No, 4 players making their way off, and Pablo is not one of them. Looks like a almost new front row. Joaquin Oviedo will make his way off. See, I believe that is Franco Molina. So that will bring on, will be Guido Petty as well. And now, Xoca Perez with the flat run straight at Artie Savia. Garcia, middle of the park. 40 metres out from New Zealand's line. Julian Montoya, big shot on him. Garcia, back across. Now Matera, and behind. Just trying to link up with that next pass. They are looking for offloads, Argentina. Missed tackle from Holland, but he finishes it off alongside Simon Parker. Garcia, rush defence from Severis. Almost got himself in trouble. It's on the shoulder, says the ref. Garcia again, going off to Guido Petty. Big clean out on Fletcher. No physicality, still the forefront for these two sides as we see the attack and run from Pablo Matera. Now Garcia not going too far forward at the moment for the Argentines, still sitting 43 metres out from the try line. Step there from Garcia. Look for the pass on the outside, but Will Jordan managing to clean it up for New Zealand. Now Christie back to Beauden Barrett, Simon Parker. Trying the step in the middle of the field. Still 22 metres. We have got there Hamish, proof positive that men can multitask, says Murray there. And also, how is that a turnover penalty? His hands are on the floor. And I don't like board ref, says Tushwell. I don't think the ref's been very bored so far. We've heard the whistle going every few seconds. Now nicely swatted back by Argentina. Going to be the knock-on advantage against... No, sorry, not a knock-on. Just saying that it went backwards now to Mighty Williams. Goes to Beauden Barrett. He steps through. Gets it away to Artie Savia. But Argentina's defence has been impeccable throughout this game so far. Finlay Christie goes across to Beauden Barrett. Ball to Holland, who knocks it on. Marcos Crema now for the Argentines. 42 metres out from the line. Who do you think is going to win? My original prediction was New Zealand by 7. But I did think it would be slightly higher scoring than this. Now, looking for the steal on the breakdown for Artie Savia. He all but had it, but Nick Berry said no. Now, skip pass from Carreras. It goes into touch. And now New Zealand have themselves the line out. It is back and forth between these two sides, ladies and gentlemen. No one taking that backward step. No one willing to budge in the second 40 minutes. Ridiculous pace to the game. Yeah, some people are going to slow down soon. That is for sure. We'll get there. Who's going to run out of gas first? That is the big question. New Zealand have already made a couple changes. Argentina made 4 at once just before. Severis, they did say it started on the shoulder, but it did right up to the head by the looks of that. Now Argentina, 45 metres out from the line. Little sell of the dummy from Juan Martin Gonzalez. Oh, that's a dirty shot there from Pablo Matera on Artie Savia. Savia lines him up and says, I've got you next, mate. Now off to the left-hand side, Carreras kicking it in behind. Nicely taken by Severis at the back, and we'll look to clear the lines. Now Juan Cruz Malia Looking for the pass across to the left-hand side. Santiago Herreras, Bowden Barrett, another crucial tackle, and Reese drives him into touch with a big shot there. Just looking around at the moment, Tamaiti Williams is also pointing. So I feel like there's a bit of stuff going on, perhaps frustration setting in for these two sides. Static score the balance. Says Anthony. And also Nick Berry is the West Southern Hemisphere referee, absolute moron. Says Charlie and Bowden Barrett at a shocker, and also bot alert. Says Glenn. And there as well, but now going to be thrown in. Nicely taken by Scott Barrett as Argentina TV director. Is going to replay Matera there. They did not in that one, but yeah, didn't look the nicest clean out from Pablo Matera. Oh, we're going back for an Argentine penalty. New Zealand offside on the far side of the field. TMO is the one who got that one. I believe that is Marius van der Westhuizen, who has penalised Simon Parker for being offside. Only joining now as the commentary live. It is indeed. So currently sitting 50.5 minutes through. Argentina are going to look for the extra 3 points. And the point for the posts. They'll take the 3, says JW. Penalty Rico's fault, says Hopes of a Nation. And Barkham on New Zealand, says Novmum there as well. But this could give Argentina the lead. They have been pretty successful off the kicking tee. In this case, it is Juan Cruz Malia giving up the tee. And Santiago Herreras is going to get the chance. Quite a versatile player, as Berry can ref and play utility back for Argie's dual citizenship, says Ricardo. And help his algorithm hit there like, and what a surprise, TMO gives another random penalty. Bloody South Africans, says Glenn. And gets Satiti on, says Freshman. I don't think we're going to see it too far away from Satiti making his way on. TMO should shut up until asked. Says Miranda, but that kick has gone over, making the score now 16 points to 13. And now 11 minutes past in the second half. Our discipline is costing us, says Gideon there. And I like Nick Berry, he's consistent, says Sergio. But now, kicking it off, Bowden Barrett, Olifire, the All Blacks attack coach already, says Chris. Enrico causing all these missed penalties from Barrett. Other tries. Bowden Barrett and his kicking is bad, says Keanu. Going to be a knock-on advantage against New Zealand. Here comes Pablo Matera. Savio wants him, and he was chasing him down, trying to get his hands on the Argentine 6. Off to the left-hand side. Argentina now 25 metres from their line. Garcia will roll it back. Where's the X-Factor? New Zealand? It ain't coming from Proctor. Well, Proctor scored a try, which is something that only Fletcher Null has been able to do for the ABs as well. Nicely taken, Bowden Barrett. 2-man tackle in by Batista Del Gui, as well as Marcos Crema. New Zealand win by 15 and over. I don't see it happening. I think if they win by 5, they'll be happy enough in this contest. No tackle by Fletcher Null. There is also a chance that it's like last week, though, and New Zealand could score late, but they're going to need to do that relatively soon. And D-Mac to 9 and kicker. Says Shane, that one's gone high. Awkward one. Rico losing the aerial battle to Batista Del Gui. Off to the left-hand side. Chance now, Juan Cruz Malia. The halfway line, we've said that man's name a huge amount throughout this match. Marcos Crema, tackled low by Ari Savia. In fact, sorry, that time it was Pablo Matera. Now off to the right-hand side, Guido Petty. Garcia. It's like New Zealand's starting to slow down a little bit here. They have had to make about 150 tackles throughout the early stages. You can just hear the physicality as well, the contact. The big shots, the air getting sucked out of the lungs. Garcia halfway. Box kick again from Argentina, starting to chase that territory game a little bit more. Plus, New Zealand have struggled in the aerial contest. It might have been knocked on by Will Jordan, but it will be play on. I'm sure if it is a knock on, we'll hear from Marius very soon. Bowden Barrett, little chipper behind. Will Jordan chasing after it. Doesn't take it cleanly. Garcia does manage to just get their hand to it. Now running up the middle for Carreras. Halfway line, another advantage for side entry against New Zealand. Big wide cut out pass to Mateo Carreras. Wrestled down by Wallace Satiti, who has made his way on, I believe, for Simon Parker. Our forwards carry the whole team, says Chris. And who has momentum? I'm too tired to watch these, man. I would say at the moment, like, New Zealand are getting more possession in the second half than they had in the first, but Argentina still have this game under control. You know, they haven't looked threatened. Their defence has been extremely solid throughout this game. We have Gadea Satiti on, says Red 7 and Oosh Wallace. Says Blues Nate. And there, another 3 here, says JW. Yeah, it's a little bit of a longer kick, but I do think it should be fine for Santiago Herreras. Unless they give it to Juan Cruz Malia. I know that he's got quite a long boot as well. I will mention anyone who is new to the channel. Of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are back for the rest of the Rugby Championship, as well as random streams tomorrow night. We've got the Curry Cup, and we're also going to be covering New Zealand's game of the Women's World Cup up against the Spanish. So be sure to check that one out as well. It is kicking off at 4:30 a.m. New Zealand time, so a bit of an early morning start for us Kiwis. We've got there, go All Blacks, go, says Vincent, and AB's new strategy, kick the ball away, says Gideon there. And also Williams looking like a hillbilly at some angle, says Robert. But now lining up this kick for Argentina. This is to take a 6-point lead here. It's struck well. It's looking very good. Never looked like missing. And Argentina now lead this game 19 points to 13. Someone should give Proctor the ball 1 metre out from the try line with no defenders in front of him. Says Hopes of a Nation. Tell you what, if New Zealand can even get close to the try line at the moment, that would be a huge bonus. Because lately, they've been struggling to get into Argentina's 22. And got a high on that restart. Well, the thing is, last week, New Zealand went short multiple times off the kickoff, and Jordie Barrett managed to get 1 or 2 where he retained them. They haven't tried that once here. Every time they've kicked it deep. So I don't know why the tactics changed for something that was actually working. New Zealand in deep trouble. They actually are. One more penalty against them. They could find themselves down by more than that 7-point margin. Vamos, says Lilia there with the Argentine flag. Kicked high by Garcia. Now Will Jordan going up for it. That's going to be knocked into the hands of Mateo Carreras. Little bit of football skill there. Late shove on Barrett as well, but it will be New Zealand's line out. Leadership has gone right out the window for the All Blacks. This is awful from the ABs. Embarrassing. Says Mark there. And really missing Roygaard. Says Alumi. And ABs need mullet hairstyles again. And we're back to 15 players. Yep, they have been back to 15 for the last about probably, I'd say, 11 or 12 minutes. And it hasn't made a huge amount of difference. New Zealand still on attack, looking like they've got no options. RWF, ABs are choking. Says Steve there. Crowd getting involved. Yeah, this crowd want to see this home side in Buenos Aires get themselves the big win. Overthrown line out from New Zealand, taken by Julian Montoya. McKenzie's on the field for Bowden Barrett. So it's now starting to make switches thick and fast. Rushing up there was McKenzie. Does make another tackle. Now Nahul Tita Chaparro. Spin from Shoka Barres. Tackle by Billy Proctor. Ball's loose. That's picked up by New Zealand. Little knock on. First of all, from the Kiwi, says Nick Berry. And it will now be a scrum against New Zealand 10 metres out from the try line. I look at the OMG, I can't take this. And Timo's helping, says Wolfie. And also, just like South Africa, this warm-up for the All Blacks, says Robert. And it ain't Roygaard. It's their Barretts that are the issue, along with Christie. Says double, though in this case, well, the thing is, they actually did have a choice. They could have gone with Kyle Preston off the bench rather than Christie, but they did decide to go with Christie, not knowing that he was going to end up playing pretty much the full time in this game. Maybe he's rattled, says Sung. And it also feels like Argentina going for the jugular now. If they score right now and convert, I don't know if I see the All Blacks coming back from this with the amount of time remaining and the lack of attack that we've seen from this New Zealand team. Block the drop, kick ABs. Says Memento there. It feels like Argentina going for the jugular, and also AB's not handling the pressure. Says Sung, they just aren't finding any sort of cohesion. And Argentina, they have the passion now underneath them, and they don't look like slowing down. We have got there always the ref when the ABs play bad. I mean, in this game, it's been a bit interesting, is all I'll say. Like, I don't like going on about the referees too much, but it's been interesting, is about all I'll say. Now ball's going to be fed in. Garcia off the back. Here comes Pablo Matera. Straight at Damian McKenzie. He's gone over it. 1 metre short. Garcia scores it. And Argentina now with a drastic lead with the last quarter of this match to go. This has been the time where they have stepped up. It's that 20-minute period after half-time. And Gonzalo Garcia gets himself the big try for Argentina in the 58th minute. New Zealand haven't scored since 25 minutes in this game. And we have got there every time the ABs lose. They're down player cards decide games. Says Godzone there. And he's the smallest guy on the field, says Robert D. Although Matera, one of the bigger ones, got within a metre. And to be fair, from there, Garcia very quick with the way that he sniped round the side of that breakdown. Going for the jugular, says Hollywood. And also hard aggressive running from Argentina. Amazing. And the kick is over too. So New Zealand are now 2 converted tries pretty much down. We have got the Hamish long time. This looks like a major upset, says Chris. It is great to have you back. Lost by 16, says Dallin. Well, that's the thing. That becomes into the equation now. If Argentina beat New Zealand by 16, South Africa go back to number 1 in the world, and New Zealand had a whole about 5 or 6 days as the number 1 ranked side before dropping back down to second. This is the end for the New Zealand, says Jean there. So lots of time, says JW, and All Blacks will come back. There is enough time, says Lisa. Oh, okay, we do see now Quinn Tupaia making his way onto the field. It sounded like it was going to be for an HIA. For Rico Ioane. Is that an HIA, or is it just that they've taken him off because he's been below par today? In fact, no, sorry, Quinn Tupaia onto the field for Billy Proctor. Ioane stays out there, major upset. Typical one-eyed New Zealand supporters asleep, says Hector in there. It is a major upset, though. Argentina came in as underdogs for this contest, even though they are at home. And they actually haven't beaten New Zealand in Argentina in quite some time. Now Argentina have got themselves possession yet again. I do see Basilio Tosi has also made his way onto the field for the All Blacks. And Quinn on for Rico. Says it was Nate. See, they actually put up that it was for Proctor, but that could be wrong. There's a knock on now from Argentina. Vamos Pumas, says Maximiliano. Never underestimate the All Blacks plenty of time, says Robert T. The Pumas have pounced and come on the All Blacks. You must win. And to make my life easier, outcry from Namibia, says Vincent. Yeah, just going for that slap back from the Argentines. Didn't quite work out. Do you see that Tolkiaho is also on the field for Cody Taylor at this point? So I think the All Blacks have emptied their bench at this stage. With the exception of maybe Josh Lord. I think he's the only guy who they haven't decided to bring on as of yet. Looking through that back line, I think Rico's still out there. I think it was for Billy Proctor in terms of that switch. And Pumas probably only need another 3 points to put it beyond New Zealand. Yeah, the fact that, well, that's the thing. But Beauden Barrett's kicking wasn't the best. McKenzie, he will have to pick up and get every conversion over. We're about top 4 in the world. Days like this top 6, the rankings are a joke. We know it. Says Leighton. And also got roasted for wanting changes in the back line. Now what? I did as well. I went with a little bit of a makeshift team and got crucified for it. But there's an advantage now for the All Blacks at scrum time. It's one of the first scrum penalties that we've actually seen throughout this day. Go Argentina, says Sebastian, and 27 points to 26 to the All Blacks. Says Jimbo for the end score. At least I was here during the box game, says Bruce there. That is a big push. Argentina get it wrong. And now McKenzie will kick this one towards the touchline. No disrespect to the All Blacks, but Bok would love an Argentine victory. I think that for the sake of the Rugby Championship, a lot of teams would love to see Argentina get the win. It means that the table would sit closer than it probably almost ever has. This may be a good loss, a blessing in disguise. Says Godzone. Are they showing Robertson on screen at all? Not at all. I don't think I've seen him once. I was there too silently, says Lilia B. I assume that's for that last live stream, but nicely taken by Fabian Holland. 25 metres out from the line, looping around. Tolkiaho goes to Wallace Satiti, breaks through Pablo Matera. Oh, Finley Christie almost overshot that breakdown, almost ended up on the side of the Argentines. Now around the side, left for Artie Savia, 10 metres out from the try line. There's actually a sense of urgency here from the Kiwis. Damien McKenzie with a skip pass out wide to Tupavai. 10 metres. They've got the penalty advantage as well. Christie hesitates, but does still give it to Scott Barrett. New Zealand, many numbers on this left-hand side. Christie again goes to Geordie Barrett, who throws himself at Julian Montoya. Finley Christie off to the right again. Here comes Tolkiaho. 2 tries last week. Could definitely use those both for this game. Big shot on Will Jordan. Ball dislodged. They will go back for the original penalty. We have got their big test for the ABs. Here we go now. Says Glenn. We have got there's no time. At this time, the momentum is with Pumas, and I'm glad. says Jenna. And urgency, good. Panic, not. And AB's performing like number 5, not number 1. Says Reeves there. Well, wouldn't this be interesting after 2 rounds of the championship? It absolutely would be. If we saw, like, Argentina aren't getting a bonus point here because they would still have to score 3 more tries from this moment. So I don't see that happening. So we could see the Rugby Championship table sit 5, 5, 4, 4 in terms of the points for these sides. Now 5 metres out from the line, New Zealand have got the chance at a rolling maul. This is where Tolkiaho picked up 1. In fact, both of his 2 tries. Bash and the ABs, they have been way more physical than New Zealand throughout this contest. Now, there are certain Kiwi players who have actually played, I think, relatively well in that forward pack, but Argentina as a whole just been the slightly better side here. Now rolling maul. Tolkiaho hanging on to it at the back. It's a little bit of a rough-looking rolling maul. Curves away to the side. Juan Martin Gonzalez gets in there. There is the advantage for New Zealand. The last thing that Argentina want is a yellow card now. Finlay Christie goes to Bowden Barrett. In fact, sorry, that was Geordie. Passes the ball to Tupai, who was already at the defensive line. So he had no go forward with him. Scott Barrett. Now off to the left again. Finlay Christie going to Severis. And Rico drops the ball again. They will go back for the penalty. I'm not support All Blacks, says Bradley, and Vamos Pumas, says Marcos there. I'll stick with a 16-point loss. And try time for the All Blacks, says Vincent, and surely the last thing they want is a red card. And Pick and Punch Man says the AI there. Okay, player playing it on the ground. Why do you read out comments? We can all see, says Francis. Some people can't. There are people who are blind in this world. But Nick Berry just saying too many penalties against Julian Montoya and his Argentine side here. Yellow card coming up. It could be just around the corner. This will be one of their last warnings, I would think, before the ref reaches for the pocket. And Rico going to sack himself. He's had a rough game, Rico, unfortunately. Looks like they are actually going to take the scrum in the middle of the field here in New Zealand. And take off Rico. There's no other options in the back line now. I think they've made all their switches. But this will be a good position to be in at the moment. Middle of the field. And Argentina on fire. Says, looks that they've looked really strong throughout this first this first 65 minutes. Just whether or not they can hang on for that last 15. Because, you know, we've seen them lead before. And then the mistakes every once in a while kick in. And I think a yellow card here could be what could definitely hurt this Argentine side. So they have to avoid it. But this could be a big scrum from New Zealand. They did win the penalty off the last. Finlay Christie, time left currently, still 15 minutes remaining. Oh, front row's going down. Will be the scrum reset. And go the All Blacks, says Vava there. And number 1, says Mohideen. Still another 3 points needed for Argentina for that number 1 spot. Go back to the South Africans, but could still happen. Geordie's been terrible, says Gazatron. You see, I think Geordie Barrett's just tried to run too flat and too straight throughout this game, which is a weird thing to say, but every time it just shut down any chance of Billy Proctor finding space. There haven't been too many times that Barrett actually went on his outside throughout this game either. Need meaner props, says Rehara, I should say, sorry. As Ali Rico is just making up the numbers. Time waster, sorry, says Sana. A lot of people were asking for Leroy Carter in this game. Is that now something that Razor might have to consider for the game up against the Springboks? Finlay Christie, they've been told to use it. Breaking off the back, Wallace Satiti goes to Finlay Christie and behind McKenzie with the step netball pass on the outside to Reese, who's going to run out of space. And again, some brilliant defensive effort from the Argentines. Oh, that's interesting. The call from the touch judge is New Zealand's line out after New Zealand take the quick throw. Nick Berry blows the whistle, says it's not your line out, but it was. So now, New Zealand, there was a big shot on Geordie Barrett. This ball just coming off of the Argentine player. Nick Berry just said we keep going, but he did stop it. Yeah, it comes off the knee of Santiago Shoka Perez. Geordie Barrett's frustrated. I think Argentina had about 2 men out there on the wing. We have got there more dodgy rest, says Big Rig. And how much time left on the clock? Currently still another 13 minutes remaining. I needed that Geordie try. He would have got that. And now use it, AB, says Sana. And there as well, but 5 metres from the line, Samisoni Tolkiaho. He helped secure the game for them last week. Can he do it again? Mackenzie's looked good since making his way off the bench. Has injected that little bit of impact. I might take Proctor off. Rico having a shocker. I thought I heard someone say HIA. So maybe that is why they decided to take Proctor from the field. Rolling maul here again for New Zealand. This one much better in terms of being set. Creeping towards the try line. Well joined by Argentina though to try and stop it. But here goes Tolkiaho, who's on the line. And New Zealand get themselves the try with 12 minutes still remaining. Can Tolkiaho do the double like he did last week? And he's going to need it in this game. Something else that the All Blacks will need is this kick to go over. There we go. We'll go like that. There we go. But gets over the line for Tolkiaho. Important conversion. And easy. Says Rehara there. And also we've got there Berry as the new Barnes in there as well. Now we have got there, could the comeback be on? It's helping them a little bit more. Now Mackenzie, this is not an easy kick for his first of the day. Sitting with 334 points in international games. Puma causing upsets. Mackenzie is ice cold. Says Robert T. Smiling at the post as well. And slots it high and over. 6-point game now between these two sides. 26 points to 20. And goodbye to the Eden Park record, whether it be taken by Oz or South Africa, or maybe both will beat the ABs there. Says Alan. And also Puma's name Nick Berry as MVP, and also my missus rubbing it in. This chick says the AI. And go D-Mac, go, says Studs Rays. Yeah, I think he's been a bit of a game changer. Josh Lord coming onto the field. That is for Fabian Holland. Big chance for that young man to make a statement. But still 11 minutes on the clock. Looking a lot better for New Zealand now than it did 2 minutes ago. Kick deep. Wallace Satiti taking it only 15 metres out from the All Blacks line. Sits down Batista Delgay. Kramer tried to turn it into a rolling maul. I'm done with Rico and Bowden Barrett. Useless, says Goski. And game on, says Terry Evans. Now off to the left, Josh Lord, his first carry in an All Blacks kit for this year. Still inside of the 22, Finley Christie rolling it back. It's a weird as world right now. Says Red 7. One's going to be kicked on. Rico Ioane chasing after it. It goes into touch. Not the most distance on it for New Zealand. And of course, Argentina would be more than happy to have one penalty at some point that they can add the extra 3. Now we'll give there the Chiefs bench will secure the win. Says Ruts, let's go the All Blacks. Says OG. A bit of a conversation there. Julia Montoya. Knowing exactly what he needs to do here. I think they've taken Garcia off for the Argentines, and that is for Benitez Cruz. And the good old up and under to the lady in the red hat. Oh, stolen there by New Zealand at line-out time. Basilio Tossi cross to Ioane. And great shot from Shoka Barres, who's injured badly here. By the looks of it, he might have half-by knocked himself out in the process. Ball goes high. Will Jordan chasing after it. Gets onto Juan Cruz Malia. New Zealand, 2 men in the breakdown. 40 metres out from their line. No yellow cards. None for Argentina at this point. 2 for New Zealand, though. In this matchup, 1 for Will Jordan, 1 for Tupovai. Now Benitez Cruz told to use it off his left boot. Finley Christie tries to charge down. Severis galloping towards that ball. Will Jordan knocks it on. Hasn't been as safe as he normally would be under the high ball for today. We have there, copy that, Glenn, and also Rico so bad in the black jersey. Reminds me of Tane Randall. We have there, try time. Says Rayhara. Now, 1. Oh, that's bad. That's bad from Severis. That is a penalty. It's actually going to be for offside against New Zealand first. So because it was offside, that will save Severis from getting himself either a yellow card or another penalty against him. Now that's interesting. Julio Montoya is asking about it, but there was already offside, says Nick Berry. Oh no, now they're going to check it. Marius van der Vesthuizen has said, actually, that looked pretty good. I think Severis is going to the bin here. He's hit it with one hand. There's no way he was going to catch that ball. This probably is going to be a yellow card for Severis. I'm going to see the replay now. He did get a hand to it, but it seemed to be that Nick Berry felt like there was already an offside. But this one is going to be bad for Reese. They will play 14 men for the rest of this game, the New Zealanders, Went to grab, says the AI, but he only got the one hand to it, and as soon as you do that, that gets you in trouble. Now we have got the, oh my gosh, Will and Reese, says Sana there. And also we have got their game over, says Memento there. 3 cards, not deliberate, says the AI. And also we have got the All Blacks not looking good, says Avanos. He's the last, oh, hang on. He's the last defender, says Nick Berry. Is this going to be a penalty try from 40 metres out? He's the last defender. This can't be a penalty try, can it? New Zealand did have that cover defence of Geordie Barrett coming back across. Will Jordan, you'd have to argue, could have had the chance of running there too. This is a big call from Marius van der Vesthuizen. What's he feeling here? It's going to be a yellow card for Severies no matter what, though. Okay. It's going to be a yellow card for Severies. Okay. No penalty try. He was the last defender, but he stopped the chance of a clean break, not a certain try-scoring opportunity. So Reese is gone for the rest of this game. New Zealand playing with the 14 men. They are going for 3 points here for the Argentines. He must be kidding. I will never forgive him if he does. Says Glenn there. And what an idiot play from Reese. And also we have got the penalty try. Would have been ridiculous in my opinion, says Big Rig there. And also he could have tripped, says Reihara. Yeah, and they also did have Will Jordan, who was floating around the back. But now chance here for Santiago Herreras. Is it going to happen for the Argentines? And we have got there too many yellow cards. This is, crap, AB's not clean at all. 2 games in a row. Yeah, 5 yellow cards across 2 games for New Zealand. Their discipline is not where it wants to be. Where's Albinozzi? Got his hand stood on by his teammate, went off the field because it was sore. But now Carreras, the crowd's completely silent. You can hear a pin drop in Buenos Aires at the moment, not just at the stadium, but I'm sure anyone watching at home as well. Strikes it. He strikes it very nicely and he gets it over for the Argentines. They are ahead by 9 with just the 6 minutes remaining on the clock. 69th minute, the time it is not. We are up to 74 minutes through. They are just showing the replay. Santiago Shoka Perez knocking himself out on Rico Ioane's leg. So he will not continue and there's a bit of push and shove here by the looks of it. Right, what has just happened? The law is you have to wait before all their team is back over the 40 before they're allowed to take the quick kickoff. So New Zealand have been ruled back. What is the call now? Is this going to be a free kick to Argentina? Because I don't know what happened to Pablo Matera here. The cameras weren't actually caught up. We were seeing the replay from earlier on. What happens is JW, we are just about to find out, but it's all kicking off in this game. I think New Zealand tried to take it quickly, but Argentina weren't back behind. Oh, okay, no, I get it. So what's happened is New Zealand have gone for the quick kickoff. It's hit Marcos Crema, who was not back the 10. And getting happy slapped by the RG, says Clint. And up the wires, says David, but it's going to be kicked off this time by Damien McKenzie. Goes deep. Quinn Tupaia trying to make the tackle on Mateo Carreras, ends up missing it. Now inside of the 22, Argentina have still got themselves the possession. 5.5 minutes remaining now. And good on you, Damien, says John. And looks like Sashi needs to start a podcast with how much they've been talking throughout the chat. Now rolling this one back, it's going to be Benitez Cruz. Chance here, 22 metres from the line. Be able to kick this one downfield. I don't believe this one's allowed to find the touchline. Not, says Michelle. Nicely taken by Will Jordan. Pops it off to Damien McKenzie. Tackled by Pedro Rubiolo. Now another step, another advantage now in favour of New Zealand as well. They have to throw everything into this attack. We have got there. What was your prediction for this match? I did say New Zealand by 7. I went 31 points to 38. So that's probably going to be wrong. We have got there as well. Argentina win. Oh, going back for another penalty here, this time for New Zealand for offside. Vamos Argentina. You don't write an All Blacks team off till 79 minutes 30. And also Berry ruling everyone offside, including the linesman, says Ali. And come on the Pumas, says Mand. And Great Rugby Championship, says Chris. Never underestimate Argentina, says Naz Williams. And there as well. And that is exactly why multiple times at the start of this one, we said you just never know what this Argentinian side can bring to the table. We have got there, well done Pumas. Now New Zealand have another line-out chance. Still the 5 minutes, in fact now down to 4 minutes remaining. And we have got the Bok fans here after getting lucky against the Wallabies. And this is going to make the Rugby Championship very close, whereas the penalty 20 metres out from the line. Oh, New Zealand didn't throw it, and free kick goes the way of Argentina. Miscommunication between Josh Lord and Samisoni Taukei'aho. And that is the last thing New Zealand needed right there. Kick downfield from Argentina. Goes into the 22 of New Zealand, who now have to go the full length of the field. Damian McKenzie's going to decide to kick this one out instead. Happy with the AB's coach, Reed Cards. Says Memento. Well, I don't think Scott Robertson can be blamed for those cards that we have seen. I think it's more so the players just making poor decisions. But, like, Razor will take all the stick for it, of course, because that's what normally happens. But, you know, like, you'd expect better from the likes of a Will Jordan or a Sever Reese to not give away a dumb penalty the way that they did. Oh, that one's going to be nicely taken by Juan Mata Gonzalez around the halfway line. Argentina know that this is do or die. Shocker Beres. How's he still on the field? He was sleeping before. But now off to the left-hand side. Must have passed the HIA. I don't think he even went off for one. He had a quick snooze. Little power nap in the middle of the field, and now he's good to go. Now, Benitez Cruz to the right-hand side. Big shot again. Coming in and almost getting bent over backwards there. The Argentines sitting with just the 3 minutes now remaining on the clock. They will put together as many phases as they can. New Zealand just having to defend and wait for their opportunity to strike again. They do need some form of points if they want a bonus point from this game. And over there, Vamos Los Pumas, says Jason there now. Kick downfield. Up and under, attempted. Juan Martin Gonzalez goes up and slaps it backwards onto the side of Argentina. Joel Scalevi now. Off to the right. Once again, Argentina, a little bit of a shuffle step there, but loose ball picked up by Argentina. It's gone backwards. Good chopping tackle from New Zealand, but Mateo Carreras. The ball again, 2 minutes remaining. Pablo Matera, he's had a big game in that Pumas number 6 kit. Well, Shocker Beres good tonight. He's had some good moments. He had some solid carries. Oh, taking the ball inside of the 22 now. Damian McKenzie tries the step, gets round one, but can't get round the second. Now 80 metres out from the Argentinian line. Savia has to get the bounce pass. Fends off Juan Martin Gonzalez, but there's just the hustle from Argentina where they don't want to give up. Finley Christie asking for the mark. Nick Berry trying to find it. It's for offside. Now New Zealand, I think they've accepted defeat. They are slowing this down, knowing that this is where they need to get themselves the last try of the contest. Get back within 7 and get themselves that bonus point. But this is going to open the Rugby Championship chip up well and truly. Every side will have a win in the first 2 rounds. When's the last time that happened? We have got there, humble pie to the All Blacks. Says Coop there. Oh, they've had it again. Taukei'aho was ready to throw the ball. He doesn't know what the call was. New Zealand threw someone up and the ball never left the hands of Taukei'aho. I have no idea what's happening there. I think that was maybe because of the loudspeaker that he's saying that they couldn't actually hear the calls. But now Christie passing it across. Big shot on him. Geordie Barrett with the flat run. But this New Zealand side, what will they look like heading into that game up against South Africa at Eden Park? Now Satiti all ripped away by Carreras. He's given them the 3-pointer if they want it. There's currently 5 seconds remaining. In fact, it's gone even quicker. There were 10 seconds on the clock. It's jumped straight to the full-time siren. So Argentina, they will get a famous victory in Buenos Aires, but New Zealand can still squeeze 1 point from this contest if this kick from Damian McKenzie does end up going over. As you said at the start of the game, maybe his mindset not in it, says Dave there. And bloody useless, says Matthew there, and Argentina are so scary, says Yanev. Yeah, they've played a really good game of rugby here, Argentina. They have been physical from start to finish. They have not taken a backward step, and they took their chances. They've only got the 2 tries, but an ill-disciplined New Zealand, 3 yellow cards. And Argentina have got 15 points from penalties. And they didn't even take all of them. Going for the 3s, but McKenzie, he will slot it over. So a little bit of something at the end for New Zealand. They will secure the bonus point, but Argentina will secure the victory for this match on Argentinian soil. Every team has a win 2 rounds into the Rugby Championship, but they will beat the All Blacks 29 points to 23. We have got there, there's Pumas pulled our shorts down. And we have got there, make no mistake, the buck stopped with the coach, says LJA. And also we have got there, All Blacks Aotearoa hard. But good on you, Argentina. Good on you, says Nars. And bloody hell, yes, Argentina, says Arno. And Argentina not pushovers anymore, says Chuck D. And thanks, bro. Great job, says David Love there. And Argentinian rugby has improved so immensely. Forced to be reckoned with nowadays, says Marcel. And I think the biggest thing that a lot of Argentine supporters are hoping for, it's one word, starts with C, consistency. Can they do it again? They are heading to Australia. Sometimes what Argentina will do is they'll have their big matches up against the All Blacks, and then they go over, face Australia, and they don't do as well. It would be very intriguing if they can continue what they did here up against the Wallabies. Perhaps if that was the case, we could be sitting with 4 rounds down in the Rugby Championship. 2 wins per side could be on the cards in there as well. And how is the table? So, the Argentinians do win this game. This is not the live table. This was the table at the start of the game. So Argentina are still in last, but they have 4 points on the table. New Zealand, they do get themselves the 1 bonus point, so they still sit in first. But anyone who is wondering about those world rankings, it closes the gap now between New Zealand and Argentina as well. Right, the commentators at the moment, Jeff Wilson, and also Stephen Donald talking about it. Those guys all back New Zealand to win 1-12 or 13 plus. In terms of the poll that they did on Sky Sport, 4% backed an Argentinian win. And at the moment, New Zealand, they dropped quite a bit on the world rankings. Minus 1.79. Argentina, they will go up to 1.79, probably about that much actually behind the Australians as well, about 1.4 behind Australia. So a win in Australia for Argentina or vice versa could really boost those 2 sides up on the overall standings as well. And Argentina wanted to win from the beginning of the match. ABs were never in the game, says Sung. And also guys went for a cheap shot to get a bonus point, says Nate there. And also we the Nick Berry screwed the All Blacks, says Kiwi Rob. I think the All Blacks screwed themselves a little bit in this game. Like, I know that it's the common thing to straight away go to the referee. And like I said earlier on, we don't like to go on about the ref too much. There were some interesting calls in this game. There is no denying that. But it can also not be denied how poorly New Zealand put together their backline at times. They had penalty after penalty going against them. The handling was wrong at the wrong times. And Argentina were the team that deserved to win this game. And New Zealand now have to go back to the drawing board because in only about 12 days' time, they are going head-to-head up against the world champions at Eden Park, where they're defending about a 50-match winning streak that they will not want to let slip. But if they play like that, they can kiss that one goodbye. I can tell you that right now. They're awful. Unreal game for the All Blacks. Was this the AB's B team? This was considered what Scott Robertson would say was one of his better sides that he could have put out on the field. And that's concerning. And great commentating, Hamish Razor should have gone with your team. Says Pi, well, I just thought we'd get some changes across the board. And of course, you want to go with a similar lineup because you don't want to have too much switching. But, you know, could Leroy Carter have made a difference here? Could maybe Amoni Narua? Could we have seen Peter Larkai do something out there on the field? You know, there are so many questions now, but the end result at the moment is Argentina got a big win, and they are now sitting 4th on the table, but with 4 points to their name. So this is way closer than last year's Rugby Championship. Just to put it in perspective, that's what it looked like last year, ladies and gentlemen. 5 wins, 1 loss for South Africa with 24 points. I'm just trying to think in my head, is it possible? Yeah, it is still possible for sides to get 24 points, but if we have a couple back and forth kind of contests, we could find ourselves with all of the sides sitting on around 10 plus points for this Rugby Championship competition. It is well and truly on the line. They've just got there the clean sweep. Los Pumas have now beaten every Tier 1 nation in Argentina. So that is the first ever win for Argentina up against the All Blacks in Argentina. And just a massive, massive shift from the team. Pablo Matera, he was doing phenomenally for his side. Albanoz went off early as well, and it seemed like that could have been the game-changing moment. But Juan Cruz Malia controlled this game from the back. They are celebrating it big time there, Argentina, as they have won a trophy of sorts in this scenario. I believe that is because of it being 1-1 in Argentina, so the home side do get it. And also we've got to remember they were 1-1 in New Zealand, so how does that work? I guess maybe they already had it, possibly. Cody Taylor, and the first All Blacks to lose his 100th, says Vic Mars, and he hardly featured in this game. Where was Timothy Tavatavanawa? I think he should have been coming off the bench. But once again, so many things that they could have done differently that they decided not to due to complacency. And now, what do you do heading into the next match? Who do you change? Is it too late to change people? Who's the halfback going to be? Cortez Ratama down with an injury. Is it going to be a Kyle Preston on debut up against South Africa? Or are they going to stick with Finlay Christie? I'm a Kiwi, but I'm stoked for Argentina, says Luke. And now for the ABs, take on Type 2. Or now for the ABs, take on the Type 2 diabetic. Bok at Eden Park, says Master. I have no idea what you're on about. We have got there Flower Fakatava in. Says Vroom Vroom, it's Razor, Reese is a joke, says CH. Yeah, that yellow card at the end, it wasn't the best move from Severies. I can understand why they selected him for this game, mainly because he did score 2 tries the week prior, but he was far from his best. New Zealand, did they win any aerial contest? Will Jordan, I think, went up for about 5, came down with none. That's something you don't normally see, but that was because of the pressure that Argentina were putting on, where Mateo Carreras was gliding through the air. And they had someone like a Batista Del Gui stepping around the outsides, Juan Cruz Malia running onto it. But overall, just a really impressive fight from Argentina here. Matera is on the verge of tears. He is smiling ear to ear, and as he should be, because that was a moment and a half for this Argentinian side. But nonetheless, now we get to do a post-match review. That'll be an interesting one, I'm sure. But like they are saying there about that speed of the ruck, New Zealand struggling to get that ball out at times. Argentina swift with their motions. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Does that mean New Zealand drop? I assume that's for the world rankings, but no, they don't. They are still number 1, but very close with South Africa, which means whoever wins those matches in New Zealand, it's going to make a big difference to the overall world rankings. But thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you all for the next one.